Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Hope we're doing well. Beautiful day here. June 12th, it's a Wednesday, 2:09. Let's see. Still no word on the jobs, but you got to be patient. That's what being stoic's all about. All you can do is interview. If they want you, they want you. If they don't want you, they don't want you. And you move on to the next person. And that's as simple as it can go. Hello, my Teaserking family. I don't know the connection, but I'll re-say it. And let's say hi to my gals. All right. So let's start where we always start at gold and silver. And gold was pleasantly up. So we survived the Monday crash after the Friday crash, which we were concerned about because it's all options. So today, silver's 29.82. It had hit back into the 30s. And gold got to 29.40, is being shorted now. It's down to 23.28. Eddie Murphy's watching it go down. 10 o'clock dropped to 22.20, 23.21, and then right back up to 23.38. And now it's being optioned down to 23.28, 29. So overall, it's fine. Overall, it's just a fucking Ponzi scheme, option game. It's got nothing to do with physical gold and silver. And to our amazements, I think Alligator is starting to listen to this broadcast because he brought it up on his thing, and he's never brought it up before. He'll always make some excuse why gold's up or down and this and that. And he finally agreed with me, and he said, "Oh no, it's all shorts and derivatives. It's got nothing to do with what's happening." Finally, the light's turning on. All right, silver 29.80, gold 23.28. All right. Comex, we know, is just a Ponzi scheme. It's just somebody's shorting. They're putting a put option in and shorting it. And they did a buy at 23.11, went up to 23.40. They sold it. Went down to 23.20. They bought another one. It went up to 23.38. They sold it. Now it's 23.28. They'll probably buy it soon, and then you'll see it go back up. I don't know if it happens. There's that many being bought and sold, but I would imagine there is. And it's all breaking apart because they're going to be scared to have an option and somebody claim the gold. Because if you claim the gold on you, you better have it or you're screwed. And so that's what the Chinese and the Indians are doing. They're saying, I want to take the gold and silver. See, according to what they say, this was never set up to be a physical market. This was just supposed to be a futures market. Where's gold and silver supposed to be in the future? But it was set up as a Ponzi scheme the whole time, where you didn't really need the gold or silver. You just did the contracts. So the whole thing's a scam, as is the London exchange, as I showed you the other day. It's just all a Ponzi scheme. And see, this is the problem we have. There's a rule book. There's laws. You can't do these things if you have legal laws. But when you start with fiat money and they're just printing money, Then it becomes give me a million, and they print it because there's it's like kids at a candy store. They can take whatever they want. Nobody's going to say anything. So with that said, they'll just print some dollars and give them to them, and then they keep the Ponzi scheme going. Now, Madoff went to jail for it, yet these guys don't go to jail for it. It's because they're the ones running it, and they run the government. They can do this because who's gonna put them in jail? And it's clear. The SEC, the Department of Justice. Where are these people? Why aren't they prosecuting? Well, they're not breaking the law. Well, I thought Madoff did with the Ponzi scheme. This is a Ponzi scheme. And then again, the whole banking industry is a Ponzi scheme. Yeah, we don't have any money, so we're going to make a loan and make you pay 10% on the loan, even though we didn't have any money. We're just made up $1 million loan for you with no money. We just call it a loan. 10% is what you're going to pay us back because we just pulled the money out of thin air. Unbelievable. All right. So that's that. I'm going to get into baseball now and basketball before we get into Alligator. All right, we got Minnesota's 5-1 over Colorado. Already started 5-2. Toronto 1-0 over Milwaukee. And then we got 3:45. That's an hour away. Okay. So we skip those two. And then we get into Houston against the 49ers. Well, let's do basketball. It's one game, and I don't want to forget. So we've got the line went to Dallas -2.5. We already bet it at 1.5 yesterday. Dallas -2.5. Game 3. Boston leads the series 2-0. Jerry West died at 86. Man, oh man. What a sad day. Jordan's the legend, bullshit. This guy was just as good as anybody else. Anyway, so we have Boston up 2-0. Dallas had one bad quarter in game 1. And then in game 2, they played them pretty tough, lost by 7. Here it's 2.5. I got it at 1.5. I like Dallas. They're at home. Boston leads 2-0. They got Luca Brasi and whoever else on Dallas. And Boston's got nobody. Porzingis, I don't even know who he is. And Jack Tatum from the Raiders. All right. So I'm going to go with Dallas, and I'll lay the 1.5 that I already laid. Again, backs against the wall. We don't really have to lay a lot of points. If they win, we win. And it's a do or die game, but they've been playing them close. Now, Boston might sweep them, but they're playing them close. So that's all we can make out of this is it's psychologically, Dallas has to win tonight. They go down 3-0, it's all over. So it's a must-win game to get back to 2-2. If they win it, then we'll see what the line is tomorrow or the next game. So take Dallas minus the 1.5. So it's just they must win at home. It's do or die. They go down 3-0, they're died. So we'll try that. All right. Let's go to baseball. All right, so upcoming's Houston and the 49ers. We got the 49ers minus 137.5. Framber Valdez for Houston, 5-3 with a 3.53 against Logan Webb, 5-5 with a 2.92 ERA. So pretty nice ERAs. I don't like the 7.5 over under. Yesterday, we had Frisco under 8 for 7 units and 1. Let's go through that first. So yesterday, Atlanta under 7.5, the winner. Washington over 8, it's a winner. Philly is a winner. I started hot, 3 for 3. Miami over 7.5, 2 bad pitchers, and they couldn't even get there. A loser. Pitt over 7.5. They can't hit either. Loser. And KC under 9.5 against the Yankees, and it went 10-0 or something. It was that's a 2-run homer, a 3-run homer. Judge hit a homer, so there was a lot of homers that you wouldn't have expected against Brady Singer, who's got a 2.5 ERA. Seattle then at night, we win 5 units, and the Niners, the late game, Frisco under 8, and that wins. So overall, we're 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. We're 5-3, which would put us up 25 minus would put us up 10. But we did have a 7-unit play on Kansas City, so we subtract 2 more. So it's 15 minus 50 is even 10. We win. We're plus 8 there. So again, a good day overall. You look at Miami over and Pitt over, they just don't hit. So what are we figuring? The team that has a bunch of 180 hitters isn't going to hit an ERA of 6? Apparently not. And that's what we have to figure out. Is Miami and Pitt so bad that they can't hit, and we should play them under all the time? But everybody hits eventually. So again, by playing the pitcher, so 2 5 ERA pitchers, and I go over 7.5, I'm expecting to get 8 runs, and I don't even get 8 runs. It's a joke. All right. Anyway, so we keep learning. We're getting better. We're winning more than we're losing the last 2-3 weeks. So that's been good. All right. So Houston and the Niners, Framber Valdez against Logan Webb. Let's go. Houston's hitting the cover off the ball lately. Houston's up to 260 batting average with a 369 bullpen. And the Niners are hitting 246 with the 431. The Niners have the better pitcher, Logan Webb, 5-5, 292, but Valdez is 5-3 for 353. I would say this is probably an under with the starters. However, it's only 7.5. It's almost like it's like an Iowa, under 32. I mean, what do you do with it? How do you play 32 under in college football? That's almost what it is. These guys aren't that strong, and the over-under is 7.5. The over-under is too low, but so it's chasing me away from it. I do have Houston who can hit. I think Houston. Webb's 5-5 with a 292. It's really a difficult bet. I'm gonna say under, but I'm not betting it. Houston under, because I don't like the 7. The 7.5 makes it unbettable. If it was 9, I'd bet it under. Oakland, San Diego, again, week 1 from San Diego. San Diego minus 225.8. Hulk Hogan, 0-0 with a 2.21 for Oakland. Michael King, 5-4 with a 3.58. Let's look at the Hulkster. Hogan Harris from Lou Lafayette. Gotta love that college. 5 innings, 3 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings, giving up 4 runs, 0, 3 runs, 0. What do you do with the Hulkster here? Even on the road at Houston, 3 innings, no hit ball. I don't know why they took him out. And at Tampa, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. This guy, all the hits are really pretty powerful. When he gives up hits, they're home runs, I guess. So I don't know what happened in this 3 innings start at Houston. You got no hits, no runs, no earned runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. See, I love when they look at like whip or batting average again. Who gives a shit? The whip doesn't mean anything. Just it's the ERA. How many runs do you give up? I don't care with runners in scoring position or not. See, they're trying to use all these metrics, and they don't work. They're just stupid. I don't get them at all. Doesn't mean I'm more concerned about the guy's ERA, which is I don't know how they're doing it. Are they updating it each? Oh, let's go down here. Yeah, 221. So, is it a 221? Not really. I mean, again, he pitched 5 2/3, gives up 4 hits, 3 runs, but only 1 earned. Well, I don't care about the unearned. I care about the runs because we're betting overs and unders. So it makes him look better than he is. He still gave up 3 runs. So he's had a 3-inning shutout, a 6-inning shutout, a 5-inning 4, and a 5 2/3, 3 runs. So I don't know what you get from the guy. So Hollywood Hogan, I don't buy the 2-2-1. It's more like a 3.5. Michael King, 5 4 to 3.58. What do we have yesterday? We had San Diego over 8, and it didn't get there. So I'm going to go under here. So let's go Oakland under 8, but I'm not going to play this one. See, I don't play them when they win, and then the ones I play, I lose, and I'm like, why am I choosing that? I don't have the confidence in Hollywood Hogan here. Now, Ric Flair won his. Brian Wu on Seattle won his yesterday, 5-4. He must have strutted around the ring, putting everybody in a figure 4. Atlanta, Baltimore. Baltimore minus 130 and 9. Spencer Schwulenbach. This guy sucks. 0-2 with an 8.38. Cade Poffitz, 0-1 with a 10.13. What's his deal? On Baltimore. Oh, from Reno, Nevada, you got to and he goes to Nebraska. Why didn't he just go to UNLV? Or go to Reno, even better. He's played 1 game against Toronto, 5 innings, gave up 6 runs. So this guy's a pig so far. So 2 pigs going. So we're going on over, and we're going to bet this one. Baltimore over 9, and we're going to go 7 units. I mean, we got 2 terrible pitchers. Spencer Swallenberg, has only pitched a few times. So let's dig in a little bit. We've got Atlanta, 3.33 ERA and a 2.44 batting average, but it's been coming down. It was 2.60 or 2.70. It went 2.50 down to 2.44. Could be injuries. And then we've got Baltimore, who's a 3.52 ERA and a 2.49. So one's hitting 2.44. Baltimore went up. They were 2.46 to 2.49. So I don't know. They're both A teams. Hard to say. I'm just going to go with it and bet against these wonderful pitchers. Soon we'll have Oakland, San Diego. We'll be betting the game under week 1. Provided Max Crosby's playing and Harbaugh's playing the Michigan defense. Harbaugh thinks he's playing Penn State instead of Oakland. All right, so Baltimore over 9, yeah, but only 5 units or 7 units actually. Washington, Detroit, 640. Detroit minus 125, 7.5. Minus 125, 7.5. Jake Irvin, 4-5 with a 3.12 for Washington, and Reese Olson, the wonderful 1-7 with the 3.43 ERA. So everybody thinks he's a superstar. but his ERA has been going up. It was like low twos, and then the last few games he's given up 5 or 6 runs. And let's see, Jake Irvin, how's he doing? Oh, yes, from Minnesota. He's friends with Ric Flair, probably. Yeah, his last 4 games, 6 innings, given up 2-0, 2-0. And in Reese Olson's last 4 games, given up 2-1, 5 and 8. And he didn't go. He went 2 innings against KC and gave up 2 runs. 6 gave up 1 run to Toronto. And then he went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs to Boston, and 4 innings, gave up 8 runs to Milwaukee. So this guy's basically a pig. You could hang it on his low ERA, but you can't do that anymore. Washington, I think, killed him yesterday. What was that? Washington over 8. I actually played a Detroit game and won. That was a 5-unit play. Washington over 8, and they won 10-1 or something. So it looks like Scooball's the ace, and then that's it. So we can't go over under 7.5. I'm just going to take Washington here. This Jake Irvin's been looking good. I can't bet it. It's Detroit. If I bet Washington, Detroit will win. If I bet Detroit, Washington will win. So I'm just gonna the over under 7.5. It's probably an over, but I'm gonna Washington 3.87 ERA. They don't hit 230. Detroit 4.04 ERA, and they don't hit 230. It's funny. Detroit's ERA was like 2 something. Then it went to 3. Now it's 4.04. It's like it keeps getting worse and worse. These guys are getting tired of throwing 1 inning and 6 pitches, and then they got set out for 3 days. So you screw the arm up, you screw the timing, you screw the momentum, everything. It's like playing golf. Here's how I review the bullpen. You play 18 holes, right? You don't want to stop. You don't want to rest. And mentally, you prepare for 18 holes. You're on the 15th. Well, I'm tired. Well, I know, but I got to go 18. Here, what you're doing is you're not preparing the guys for anything. The guy pitches 1 inning, and he pitches 10 pitches, and maybe he shuts them out. Maybe he gives up a home run. Doesn't pitch for the next 2 days. Has no rhythm anymore. All I got to do is throw 10 pitches and I'm done. And if they start hitting me, then just pull me. I pitch 10. That's it. I don't want to get hurt. That's how bad it is. These pitchers are not at all prepared mentally. They should be pitching every day. You're pitching 1 inning and you're pitching 10 to 15 pitches. I'm sorry. That's nothing. That you should be able to do every day. And they should be able to go 2 innings every day or most of the time. I mean, if the guy goes through and he strikes out the side, why are you pulling him? Isn't that what you want? Isn't that the whole point of the next guy you hope does what he just did? So why would you bring in a new guy? And believe me, I've been on the other side. When I got a pitcher I can't hit, I'm so happy when he's gone. I don't care if Sandy Koufax, and then you pull him for Nolan Ryan. I'm happy to see Nolan Ryan because I know I can't hit Sandy Koufax. Anyway, so we're going to go with Washington, not make a bet. It's hard. Reese Olson sucks. Jake Irvin looks like he's pitching good. I think Washington wins the game. The Cubbies in Tampa Bay, NFC Central game from a few years back. The Bears, the Bucks. Chicago 105-8. Javier Assad 4-2 with the 2.74. Goes against Aaron Chevalier 2-5. Okay, this is an easy one. We're going Cubs 5 units. Go Cubs, beat Navy. And I pointed that out yesterday that Army and Navy are in the same division for the first time. Army's always a independent. I think there's two independents. I think it's Notre Dame and like UMass or something. I don't know why. If it's so good to be an independent, why is Notre Dame the only one? Why isn't Texas? Why didn't they become independents? USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, Michigan, Ohio State. Why aren't they all independents? Really fuck up the playoff. All right. So, yeah, go Cubbies. Let's just take a look at the Cubbies are 4.33 ERA and a 2.29 batting average. I didn't realize they're that bad hitting. And Tampa Bay's 4.44 and a 2.33. Their bullpen sucks. 2.30. They can't hit either. Tampa's just terrible. Yeah, go Cubs. This is a good one for the Cubbies. And ironically, they're both 32 and 35. Interesting. Philly and Boston. This is our lock of the day. We're going Philly, and we're going to go under 8.5. And this will be 7 units. We got Christopher Sanchez, related to Ranger Sanchez. I don't know. 3-3 with a 2.71 ERA. Nick Pivetta, 3-4 with a 3.40 ERA. Nick Pivetta, did he do good last game or terrible? Oh, he's from Canada. Oh, no wonder. Okay. Yeah, he had 7 innings and threw a 1-hitter. And his game before against Detroit, 5 innings and threw a 2-hitter and lost 5-0. Then it was 7, then 1, then 4, then so. So he's had a few bad outings early, giving up. Those are hits. Duh. Gave up 0 and 2, then a 5 against Milwaukee, 5 runs, then a 1-2, another 5 and 0 and a 1. So he's had 2 bad outings where he's given up 5. 1 at home to Milwaukee and 1 at Atlanta. And then kills Detroit, shuts out Atlanta. See, this is where it's hard. At Atlanta, he pitches 4 innings and they lose 5-0. And then at home against Atlanta, he wins 9-0. He goes 7 innings, gives up 1 hit. So it's interesting that where they're playing is also more important than we're picking up on. So I'm going to go under 8.5. It's a risk because Philly can hit the ball, and Boston, we know, is very, the green monster. So you just hit a pop-up and you get a home run. Christopher Sanchez, also from the Dominican Republic. Well, he's not a bullpenner. Mostly 5s and 6s. He's had 1, 2 7s. Now this guy's good. The last, so he's given up 1 run, 0, 1 run, 2, 3, and 1. So, yeah, I'm loving the under here. Go under. I think Philly's hot. 46 and 20. They're damn hot. But this is the time to play under 8.5 versus Philly because Pavetta's been pitching pretty well. So the last thing you want is to get Verlandered where Suarez loses 2-1, like Verlander did. So that's the last thing you want. So you got to be careful there. All right. The Battle of Ohio. We got Ohio State playing Akron or Cleveland, Cincinnati. Cleveland 43 and 22. They're the 18. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, 32-35. Cleveland's 110 and 8. Tanner Bibby, 4-1 with a 3.73 against Nick Lodolo, 6-2 with a 2.92. Let's look at Tanner Bibby. So he's given up 3 1s, 1, 3, 1, 0 his last 5. So pretty good. He did have a 7-inning go against Minnesota, 2 6s, and then a 5 against Kansas City last time out. Had a few rough ones, gave up a 6 and a 5. See, this is where it's difficult. He gives up a 6 and a 4, then 0, 1, 3, 1, 3. a couple of ones, a 0 and a 2. So there's always going to be that. Oh shit! He gave up 5 runs and 6 runs. Gave up 5 runs to the White Sox, 6 runs to California. So there's always those bad outings, and then it's 0, 1, 1, and a couple of threes. So you don't know what you're really getting with Bibby and Lodoto. I think we got to go under. Let's see what they do. Cleveland and Cincy. Wow, Cleveland's got a 2.35 bullpen ERA, Cincy 3.56, which is good. Cleveland hits 240, Cincy 227. So this has under written all over it. So we're going to go Cleveland under 8, and this will be 5 units. So the question is, am I pushing the Philly game and the Cleveland game under? Should I be betting those? That's really the issue. I see Philly with a 2.71 and a 3.40 ERA, and the over-under is 8.5. And I see Cleveland since you got a 3.73 and a 2.92. Am I forcing it because I see the ERAs? But am I looking at enough? And that's why I try to look at the bullpen and the batting average. We know nobody's probably going to go more than 7 innings unless it's Verlander, Chris Sale, a couple of those guys. Could get you 8 innings. Normally, they should get you 7. Most of these other idiots will get you 6. And let's see what this is about. USPS. Your courier has arrived at your courier address. The address on the package is incorrect and home delivery cannot be completed. This is USPS. Why wouldn't they just put it in the mailbox? Click the link to fill in your correct address. If the overdue payment is not processed, we will refund the merchant. This is a scam. This is Madoff. What the fuck? Okay, why would I pay for a delivery that I don't know about, right? So just this gets deleted. Also, that's a group chat. Also, leave the group chat and move the trash. So you don't even dick around with that. You just simply you just ignore it. You don't even hit they want you to hit the link. Then you got a virus, then they're stealing all your money. So that's why you don't even hit the link. But they try to scare you that you owe money. So call or click on the link. I showed you in the email. Click on the link so you know then you can see what it is. Well, I didn't order anything. This is the problem with it. The only thing you might order is Amazon, but I don't order Amazon. I don't like Amazon. So all I do is go to Target or go to Meijer's or Kroger's or something, and I go pick it up. What do I need? Hair color, mouthwash. I go to the grocery store and buy it. I go buy fruits and veggies. I don't understand these people that can't even go to the grocery store. Yeah, just give me bananas and apples, and I'm too lazy to go to the grocery store. I mean, it's just insane. All right, where were we? Cleveland. All right, so we're going under with Bibby and Lodolo, a 2.92 and a 3.73, under 8. We'll see. It's funny on these under games. It's like the first. If you can get out of the first inning, you get into the first inning and it's like 4 runs, like the Yankees yesterday. I'm like, what the fuck? Singer's got a 2.6 ERA and he's given up 4 runs by the third inning. You're like, 4 runs, how many home runs did Judge hit? So tonight we got another really weak Miami over 7.5. Couldn't get there against 2 big pitchers. Here it is again. Braxton Garrett, 2-1 with the 5.81. David Peterson, 1-0 with the 3.09. I ain't going near this game. Fuck it. I mean, this should be an easy over. I'm looking at the box score. There's 4 guys who aren't hitting 200. My favorite is when they pull a 280 hitter for a 110 hitter. They pinch hit for him. You're pulling a 280 hitter for a 110 hitter because it's a lefty righty thing. The guy who's hitting 280 can hit. The guy who's hitting 120 can't. Amazing. So I am avoiding. I'm only playing Miami under, and I can't with the 5-8-1. There's too many. I gotta be conscious of they can't score, so I can't play an over here. Pittsburgh St. Louis, very similar. Bailey Falter, 3-3 with the 3.69. Sonny Gray, 7-4 with the 2.11. We just missed it because Pittsburgh had that new guy going, and he had like a one hitter through 6 or 7 innings yesterday. That the new guy. So here they got Bailey Falter, 3-3. Pitt, I had over 7.5, didn't get close. Sonny Gray, good pitcher, 7-4. So it's either taking Sonny or going under 8. I would take St. Louis under 8, but I'm not going to bet it. Why do I take the under versus the team? Well, unless it's Baltimore or Philly, and I know they're going to win, or Verlander, who is sliding a little bit. I don't know. Sonny Gray's the better pitcher, but they're 175 favorite. Falter is 3-3 with the 3.69. Not bad. He could throw a one hitter at him. St. Louis doesn't hit. Pittsburgh doesn't hit. So I know it should be low scoring, but I don't know if Sonny Gray will win. I would bet Sonny Gray, but I don't know. Pittsburgh could easily win this game 2-1. And you're like, fuck, I knew it was going to be low scoring, but I bet on Sonny Gray. I'm not ready to bet on Sonny Gray yet, but I am ready. 2 big teams who have like 5 guys that can hit 200. So we're going to just go under. The Yanks in KC, I give the Yanks just too much. Aaron Judge is up to 310. He was hitting 205. He's now 310. Yankees are minus 160, 10.5 over under. Cody Poteet, 2-0 with a 1.72. Dan Altavalia, 0-0 with an 0.00. So is he a new boy? Dan Altavalta from Pennsylvania. He goes to Mercyhurst College in Pennsylvania. Anybody hear that? You're drafting baseball players from here. Unbelievable. Oh, and they must have drafted him out of high school because 2014, a 5th round by Seattle. So he sucks. So KC picks him up. And he's pitched one game against the Yankees, and he pitched 1 inning, and there was shutout. How about that? 1 inning, they didn't hit him. But he has pitched since 2016 as a bullpen guy. He has not started a game. His ERA is 4, and he's a bullpen guy. So this explains a lot. Cody Poteet from San Diego. See, he goes to UCLA. This is the guy. He's pitched 3 games. 6 innings, gives up 6 hits and 1 run to Cleveland. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs to Frisco. And the Dodgers, 4 innings, gives up 2 hits, and that was it. 3 walks. They pull him after 4 innings. Just amazing how bad the managing is. So what do I do with this guy? 6 innings, 6 hits and 1 run, but 5 innings against the 49ers, and the Dodgers shuts them out in 4 2/3. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have enough information on Cody Poteet. Dan Altavalia kind of probably blows. And the Yankees are minus 160, over under 10.5. So we got to go over with the Yankees. New York Yankees over 10.5. And I'm not, well, let me see Casey's batting average. This Petit's going to go 4 or 5 innings. The Yankees, 305 bullpen, 254. So it's a pretty good bullpen. What did that one guy? He was like 0-0-0 after like 10 games. I wonder where he's at now. and Kansas City 422 and a hit 250. So they're pretty much an over team. The Yanks have a good bullpen and they can hit. They'll hit. Yeah, I got to go the Yanks over, but I'm not going to. I don't have enough to bet it. This Dan Altavalia, who the hell knows? The White Sox in Seattle. Seattle minus 250. We had Seattle yesterday and got the W. We got Seattle again. Jonathan Cannon, 0-1 with the 5.94 against Bryce Miller, 5-5 with the 3.81. This has over written all over it. So I'm going to go over with Seattle. And again, I'm not going to bet it because this is the game that's getting me in trouble. All right, I'm going over, and then Chicago gets 3 hits in the game, and they lose 6-0, and you're like, seriously? They against the pitcher with the 5? This pitcher, Bryce Miller, 5-5 with the 3.81, and Jonathan Cannon, 0-1 with a 5.94. How can this game not go over? Seattle should get it over facing this guy with the 6 ERA. And then Bryce Miller comes in at a 3.81. All right, what do we do with it? Should we bet it? Yeah, maybe we'll play it. We won with Seattle. All right, we'll go 3 units. How about that? Oh, now who's bothering me? Working in America, renters can now report payments to credit bureaus to build credit. You know what? I have credit. What am I getting all this bullshit for? To build credit. Yeah, let's see. My credit's like 750 or somewhere around there. I'm renting because I don't want to buy a house and watch the value drop. I won't forget that one guy who kind of like doesn't like me because I'm in an apartment, even though he didn't ask why, or I just moved back from Alabama, whatever it was. Didn't want to know that. It's that how smart can I be in an apartment? So in other words, if I was in a nice big house, then I'd be smarter than I am in an apartment. Okay, buddy. Good sound logic there. Don't ask questions, just assume. That's great. All right, so Seattle over 7. All right, then we've got California and Arizona. Arizona's a 158.5. Josh Soriano, 3-5 with a 3.64 against Slade Chisoni, 1-4 with a 5. What a name. Slade against Jose. We're going to go over here. Arizona over 8.5. Yeah, we're gonna put 3 units on it. I love it. I put 3 on Seattle. So instead of the 5, I'm putting 3. I'm getting really like, okay, we probably don't want to bet this one, but if you do, put like $5 on it. And last but not least, Dallas against the Rams. We had Dallas in the 49ers last week. That was fun. Now we got Dallas against the Dodgers. Dodgers a big 185, 8.5. John Gray, 2-2 with the 2.12. Ferris Bueller, 1-3 with the 4.82. John Gray, who the hell are you? I love when I haven't heard him. All I do is look at the starters every day, right? You've seen me. I don't know who this guy is. Oklahoma Sooner. Yeah, he's pitched. I don't know what happened last game. He pitched 2 innings, gave up 1 hit. That was it. No runs. Looks like he's pitched a few 1-inning games, 3-inning games. He seems to be a starter. He's been in 12 games, started 10 of them. Mongo don't know. Let's see. Runs. 2 runs. See, I can't go 0 because he pitched 2 innings. 5 innings, 2, 0, 1, 2, 1, 1 for 4, 1, 2 there. So he's pretty good. Doesn't pitch a lot of innings, but he's pretty good. So this is the guy on Texas, John Gray, and then Ferris Bueller 1-3 with the 4.82 is a pig. Can't take Texas. I can't play the game. My hands are tied. John Gray looks pretty good. Bueller is 1-3 with a 4.82. I can't bet him. I can't bet the Dodgers. And then it's, do I bet the over 8.5? But this guy gives up 1 and 2 runs his 4 or 5 innings of work. So we're going to just have to let it go. There's no point in betting. If I bet, I'd have to take Texas here, and I don't want to play Texas. All right. So we've got NBA, Dallas. We're going to go 11 units on Dallas -1.5 tonight against Boston in a game 3. They're down 2-0. They must win. We're taking baseball, Houston under 7.5, Oakland under 8, Baltimore over 9, Washington, the Cubbies, Philly under 8.5, Cleveland under 8, St. Louis under 8, the Yankees over 10.5, Seattle over 7.5, and Arizona over 8.5. The bets are Baltimore over 9, 7 units. The Cubbies, Philly under 8.5, 7 units. Cleveland under 8, 5 units. Seattle over 7.5, 3 units, and Arizona over 8.5 for 3 units. So the games I'm really not sure of, I kind of like, okay, I'll bet it, but those probably, that's why they're 3 units. So I would bet those small. The big 7-unit games are Baltimore over 9 and Philly under 8.5. And the beauty of this is I'm not picking a team. I'm picking pitchers. So it's not like I'm saying, well, I'm going to play Baltimore and Philadelphia today, but it happens to go. I got Baltimore over and Philly under, not Baltimore and Philly. I did that the other day. I had Texas and the Texas over in the game, and they both won. But I'm not, I'll come back 8, 9 o'clock. I'll look at the scores and I'll go, I have no idea who I played. Well, I know I play Baltimore and Philly, but I got them over and under. I don't have them. So if Baltimore wins, I got to hope they score more than 9 runs. Same in Philly, I got to hold them to under 9. But again, they're good pitchers going for both teams, so it should be an under. Cleveland under 8. The only game I got is the Cubbies. Others are overs or unders. And then Dallas, I know I'm laying 1.5 tonight in baskets. I don't know how good Boston is, and only because we've been watching Dallas beat OKC and then beat Minnesota. Do we have anything that Luca Brasi's pretty good? They beat these teams. So I think they're a good team, but I don't know Boston. I don't see Larry Bird out there. I don't see John Havlicek. I don't see Bill Russell. I see Jack Tatum, and that's it. I mean, one guy. I don't know how good he is. See, when you've watched Jordan and Magic and Kareem and the Doctor and Larry Bird, these guys are nothing. These guys aren't even players. So it's hard to get excited watching Jack Tatum play going, well, yeah, he had a good hit in the Immaculate Reception game, but, yeah, that's 1972. So you just sit there and you have no idea how good any of these guys. They're nowhere near Magic and Bird and Jordan and Isaiah and Kareem and all those guys in the 80s were so much better. So it leaves you with, how do I analyze these guys? And I can't. So you go to the psychological. Boston is up 2-0. Dallas is at home, has to win. Played them pretty tight last game. Really, the first game, just the first quarter. Okay, who's the better team? I have no idea. Dallas looks good, and then they disappear. So I don't know what to do with them. All right. So that is your baseball, and that is that. I did want to bring up a little bit of college football, and we'll get into Alligator. So yesterday I started going. I went to the conferences, and I said, "Here's all the teams," and then I went through the conference So we went through the ACC. And so here's your first problem. You don't even know the team anymore if they change coaches. So here's California offense, new Mike Bloschel, old Jake Spaz. So that's I guess the offensive coordinator. But you don't know what offense they went to and what they were on. Duke, new head coach Manny Diaz. Old was Mike Elko, who went back to Texas A&M. Offensive new Jonathan Brewer, old Kevin Johns, but it doesn't say where he's from. The defense has a new because he came with Manny Diaz. How do you bet Duke? What do I know? Manny Diaz is a defensive coach, is about it. That doesn't mean anything. They lost their quarterback. Riley Leonard went to Notre Dame. But the way they didn't use Hartman, I don't think I'd be running to Notre Dame. Their coach is terrible. Their offensive coordinator moved on. Don't like it. Georgia Tech defensive coordinator new. Miami defensive a new Lance Guidry, Derek Nicholson, old Lance Guidry. What? So Lance Guidry was their defensive coordinator, and now he left and came back. I mean, this makes no sense. So I guess they have two because this guy sucked. This guy cost them the Georgia Tech game. By letting them catch a Hail Mary after the offensive coordinator, who I see is still there, didn't take a fucking knee. Or the head coach is still there. So I don't give Miami any credit for anything. Not with these coaches. North Carolina defense, Jeff Collins, I don't know. Now they have to have what, two defensive coordinators? So they had Gene Sizik, and now they got Jeff Collins and Tommy Thigpen. So they got two defensive coordinators. So we're going to have 10 defensive coordinators. I saw UCLA hired 21 coaches. 21 coaches the guys got. Or maybe that's the New England Patriots. They got a bunch of coaches. What you got a head coach, got an offensive defensive coordinator. What the hell is going on now? Pitt with an offense, new offensive coordinator, have no idea. SMU, new offensive coordinator, Casey Woods. But Casey Woods was the old one. Just they switched Jonathan Brewer out. Defense. Maurice Crum and Scott Sidmo. It was Scott Simon. So they didn't get rid of their defensive coordinator. They're going with two defensive. What the fuck? Syracuse gets a new head coach. Dino Barbers was good in the MAD. I think it was at Bowling Green. They'd score 50 points a game, and he comes to Syracuse, and he sucks. Who the hell is Fran Brown? Offense, Jeff Nixon. Well, that makes sense because they're switching coaches. Anyway, I don't get it. So this makes it even worse. All these new coordinators. Now, most of them are idiots, so most of them run the same as the other guys. I'll run a two deep zone, and every offense looks the same. We'll run the wide receiver screen, which never works, just because of the formation. You got three receivers out to the side. Everybody and their mother knows you're doing a wide receiver screen, and the defense reacts to it, and off you go. ACC returning leaders. How the fuck is Cam Ward a returning leader when he played at Washington State? Preston Stone's at SMU, and Kyle McCord, who the hell team is he on, from Ohio State? Ohio State's not in the ACC, fellas. Rushing, O'Marion, Hampton. Jaden Ott, I thought was good. Martinez is good from Oregon State. How the hell did you end up here? See, that tells me something when you got a good receiver like a good running back like Martinez at Oregon State. The coach goes to Michigan State. The quarterback goes with them, and the running back doesn't go. Problems there. All right, I don't care about the recruiting. That's a bunch of bullshit. So all I do on my Gray Sports Almanac is I'm really looking at quarterbacks. I don't give a shit about the rest. Thomas Castellanos will be the quarterback at BC, and I got all his stats in my file from last year. Does it mean anything? Well, I don't know. Do they have a new coach, Bill O'Brien? Offensive coordinator Will Lawling, defensive coordinator Tim Lewis. Doesn't help you at all. I mean, unless you know the name, I don't know who these idiots are. So why would I think all of a sudden they'll be good? I know they opened at Florida State. Now, you can look at last year, they lost 31-29, but there's a whole new coach and a whole new coaching staff. And this guy's from New England, Bill O'Brien. So, he's in over his head. So be careful. Wow, Minnesota's up 10-3 on Colorado. Whew. Let's see who we would have played, and then we'll get back to football. So judging by the pitching, Austin Comer for Colorado with a 4.26 ERA, 3 innings, gives up 11 hits and 8 runs. Why are you leaving your pitcher out to give up 11 hits and 8 runs in 3 innings? Are you insane? Look at these ERAs. Then they go to a 6.93 pitcher and a 10.38 pitcher, and you're in the 6th inning. You wonder why you're losing 10-3. So Gomer is a 4.26. Lopez is a 5.33. So this would have been an over anything. It would never have been a Minnesota. It would have been a Colorado over a Minnesota. So Minnesota's killing them. 5 runs in the first inning. The game's an over. So this would have been an over bet. So that would have been what we thought. Toronto's 1-0, and that's it. So this is the big problem here. So we're not going to go through it. California, yes, their quarterback's back. Clemson, yes, their quarterback's back. Duke's got a new quarterback, Malik Murphy. I think he played a little when Riley Leonard hurt his foot near the end of the year. Florida State, it's a new quarterback, but it's Uglia Buglia. Oh, my God. What is Florida State doing? A kid out of high school would be better than Uglia Buglia. What is it that – so he's a supposedly high draft choice, and he goes to Clemson and he sucks right away, and then he goes to Oregon State where he sucked right away. What are you looking at? Why? This guy will get drafted in the pros, I'm sure, in the first 5 picks because he can run. He's an athlete. He's got a good arm. I don't know, but he can't quarterback. And this is what's so frustrating. So this guy is just pathetic. And, I mean, you can't play Florida State in any of the big games. So they started LSU. Now I'm taking LSU, although they don't have their quarterback. Or they got a new one. Then they go at Clemson. They got no chance. Game against Duke, Miami, North Alabama. Then they got Florida. Then they got 2 strange games. Louisville, December 2nd. Oh, okay. No, I'm looking at the 23. My fault. Okay, normally the new schedule is on the left. So the new schedule, they open with Georgia Tech. Probably a loss. Then they got BC, Memphis, California. At SMU could be a loss. Clemson, Duke, Miami. That's tough. North Carolina, who's Thurston Howell III's coming back. Then they're at Notre Dame, and then they get Florida. The first game's in Ireland. Oh, yeah, we're going to Ireland now. We're going to Brazil in the NFL. We're going to Ireland, and we got the Georgia, the Georgia Clemson game, and the Mercedes Dome, and There's one in Carolina and there's one in Texas. I don't mind those bowl type of games, but what the fuck are they going to Dublin, Ireland for Florida State? I can understand Notre Dame, but Florida State, Georgia Tech. Wow. Anyway, so Florida State's in big trouble with Uglia Buglia. Let's see who their backup is. Brock Glenn, a freshman. Well, we'll be seeing him after about 3 games. The Brocker will come in and have to relieve Uglia Buglia with his pathetic quarterback play. Georgia Tech, Haynes King is back. Very good offense. Louisville, Tyler Shaw is from Texas Tech. Very good quarterback. Miami, Cam Ward, we know he sucks, from Washington State. He was good at the home games against Oregon State and Wisconsin, and then he went up against the big boys and didn't play. Miami starts with at Florida, and then what do they play in Florida A&M for? Then he's got a South Florida. He's got Louisville, Florida State, Duke, Georgia Tech. Pretty easy schedule for Miami, except for the Louisville, Florida State, Duke part of it. But even though those that's not like Oklahoma, Texas. So we'll see. Cam Ward, coach, Mariel Cristobal, 12-13, 2 years with Tyler Van Dyke. This guy sucks. Career record 74-73 was at Oklahoma. I don't know what you see in this guy to make him a coach. Oh, I can take a knee and win the game. No, let's hand it off and fumble. Yeah, that's a much better strategy. How's this guy still coaching? What do you got to do to fire this guy? Are you kidding me? Oh, I didn't know we could take a knee and just watch the clock run out. Oh, my God. And then to add the cherry on top, then he gives up 80 yards and 75 yards in like 15 seconds because there's no time left, right? Because all he had to do is take a knee. So they throw a Hail Mary and they catch it, and where's the defense? Nowhere to be seen. And Miami loses a game that all they had to do is take a knee. I mean, so I understand why Tyler Van Dyke's at Wisconsin. I wish he would have went to a better school, but that's where he's at. North Carolina, of course, they got a new quarterback because, this is interesting. They got Connor Harrell. It's a sophomore. They got Max Johnson from Texas A&M, who was pretty good. I'm shocked that he's not starting here. NC State, Grayson McCall, great quarterback. That makes sense. He came to NC State. Pitt, they're in trouble. See, here's how we judge the team, right? Oh, okay. Grayson McCall is at, where the hell did we just say? North Carolina State. So we give him a big, okay. And Pitt got Nate Yarnell, a junior, and Eli Holstrom, a freshman. Yeah, they're not going to win too many games with these two quarterbacks. Unbelievable. So they're in big trouble there. Now they're an under team. SMU, Preston Stone, he's back. He's very good. But they'll have to get used to the new conference. Stanford, what are they doing here? Why is Stanford in the ACC? Anybody? McFly? Ashton Daniels, who sucks, is the quarterback. Syracuse, Kyle McCord. He's the guy from Ohio State. This is where he ends up at Syracuse. Wow, and he sucks. So wouldn't be betting too much on Syracuse. I mean, it takes like an hour and a half to go through one conference because there's like 50 teams. Virginia, Anthony Kohler. I don't have any. Tony Muskett, I've heard of. I think it was their quarterback the last year. Keep an eye on Anthony Kohler. Is he any good? Who knows? Virginia Tech, Chiron Drones is a junior, is back. He's not very good. See here, like it says, team information, head coach. This is Virginia Tech. Brent Pry, record at school 10-14, 2 years. Career record 10-14, 2 years. And so you don't expect much from Virginia Tech with this coach. He's not even 500. And Wake Forest, Hank Bachenbauer, who was at Boise, sucks. I don't know what he's doing here. All right. Then we get to the AAC, which we'll get to at a different time. One thing I want to check is Missouri. They had a great running back. I want to know where he went. Where are they? In the Big 12? This is a mess. No, he's in the SEC. The SEC. Missouri Tiger. Brady Cook's a very good quarterback. I don't know where the running back went. I don't know if it'll tell us. Oh, apparently he got drafted. I looked for that. So Cody Schrader, a Division II transfer turned SEC leading rusher, was very good at Missouri. He's off to the pros. And two of his backers, including all SEC, are also gone. Okay. So we did lose our running back, but we have our quarterback. All right. Just FYI. So we get more into this. I'll just do videos, the Big 10 and the Big 12, or the SEC and the Pac-2, the Pac-10 -8. We will do that. So just to get it started. So what we're going to do is here's the quarterbacks on these teams, and then try to identify who the hell, like Preston Stone of SMU is the same quarterback. They just changed to the ACC for some reason. It makes perfect sense. SMU would go to the ACC. As much sense as Stanford and Cal going to the ACC. Atlantic Coast Conference, Stanford and Cal. What the hell's going on here? The reason you have it regionally, so you could, there's not all the travel and you get used to these teams. Why is the Big Ten got Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA on it? Why did they all leave the Pac-10? How hard is it to get a TV contract? Oh, yeah, it's late. You know, the night game is 10:30. Yeah, okay, I get it, but still. You'd think they could have done something. They didn't need a night game. That's where TV took over. So play your games at 1 o'clock, which would be 4 o'clock, just like in the pros. All their games in the AFC West and the NFC West are 4 o'clock, which are 1 o'clock games, and we don't have any problem with the AFC West and the NFC West. Why is there not a Pac-10? It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I mean, if the pros have the AFC West and NFC West and East and South and Central, why would you not do it? Why would you think college football has to? You know, it's like the Rams and the Raiders and the Chargers playing in the AFC East. Yeah, Miami, Baltimore, Buffalo, San Diego, Oakland, and Arizona. Really, I mean, it's stupid enough Dallas is in the NFC East, but I don't see that. Why you guys named it? The college guys have to go there. All right, so let's get into. one thing I wanted to get into first. Retailers are in a panic, huge discounts right here, huge discounts. So let's watch a little bit of this. Now, this is what I teach you in economics.
In 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not
to make money.
In the United States. Americans are pulling back on gain back their customers. With sales declining faster than the same retailers that have helped push consumer prices up by 20% over the past 4 years are now getting desperate. As shoppers aggressively tighten their spending to cope with stubborn inflation, some of the biggest retail chains in America are on a price-cutting spree to gain back their customers. With sales declining faster than expected and financial results disappointing, these companies are finally feeling the consequences of the substantial price hikes they've imposed since 2020. To lure people back into their stores, some companies are reporting discounts of up to 30%. Big-name retailers like Target, Walmart, Aldi, Best Buy, and Home Depot are shifting their sales strategies to prevent facing even bigger financial losses in the coming quarters. According to multiple reports, executives are saying that American consumers have become too price conscious and selective after years of persistent price increases. At this point, not only those at the bottom of the economic ladder are curbing their spending. Chad Lusk, Consumer and Retail Group Managing Director for consultancy firm Alex Partners, noted that upper-income households are also changing their consumption patterns due.
All right, so what do I teach you? Exactly this. You cannot, because of inflation, raise your prices because it's up to us, the consumer, to accept them or not. So what are we hearing? All these guys are charging too much. Nobody's buying it because they're saying fuck you, and they're either buying it at different stores or they're substituting goods, like I said. So this was very expensive at $14, but I only buy it once, so I bought it. But otherwise, I probably can go online and find starting quarterbacks. I know once it starts, I can just look at my box scores and just pull stats down and get that. But I want to see the coaches. I can probably do that online also. But this is the point. You cannot just raise prices. So I go to Coke, $3 for a 2-liter, $2.95. And everybody says it's too expensive. We're not going to buy it. This is at Target, at Meijer, at Kroger's, at wherever you shop, Walmart's. You can't afford it. Well, you can if you need to, but your salary doesn't go up. So if you're making 50 grand, you're still making 50 grand, but now you go to the grocery store where it cost you $500 a month, it's now costing you $800 a month. Well, you can't afford the $300. Your rent went up, your utilities are going up, your gas pretty much staying where I'm at. So what do? Well, you substitute. Instead of Heinz ketchup, you buy Meijer's ketchup. Instead of Kellogg's cornflakes, you buy Kroger brand cornflakes. You just can't afford it, so you start substituting. These retailers are out of their fucking minds for throwing these price increases at you, thinking you would buy them. I mean, that's bullshit. Coca-Cola going to $2.95 a bottle from $1.50, and what do they expect? Do they expect everybody to just say, "Oh, it's Coke, so I'm going to just pay more"? Hell no. People say, "Fuck you, Coke," and they go buy. I buy Faygo a lot. If I buy pop, but I prefer not pop. I buy tea and coffee, or I have my water with lemon and ginger and cinnamon. So I don't waste my time. If you want to charge that much for pop, I ain't paying for it. I don't want it anyway because it's not healthy, but I'm certainly not going to pay for it. But what do I tell you about New York strips or hamburger? The meat, the beef, if it goes up too much, you don't buy it, right? I'm not going to pay $20 for a New York strip. When you want to make them 10, fine. There's no reason to raise the price. It's all based on the market. What will I pay is what you can charge. Say's law. Supply creates demand. Then we have the whole free market, Invisible Hand, Adam Smith, the scones. So you want a scone, you go to the bakery back in 1587 or whatever. And there's Adam Smith, and he's at the bakery looking, going, what's going on? And so you make scones. And then what happens? Then the other bakers, seeing what's going on, he starts making scones because he can see there's demand for it. And then the price is set by the market. How much can I charge for people to pay for it? How did we get so far away? Oh, we'll have inflation. Oh, I'm Coca-Cola. Well, that's okay. Or I'm General Mills or Cheerios or Kellogg's. I'll just increase my prices because people need cereal. No, they don't. It's terrible for you. So when you start seeing that, then they do this huge price increase, which they shouldn't do. And then what you notice at the store is, well, the Coca-Cola is now $2.95, but you know what? Since it's not selling, and instead of lowering the price to like $1.50 where it should be, because that's where the market put it, we're gonna say, you know what? Buy two for $5. So now it's $2.50 a bottle, or maybe you buy two for $4. So we'll make it $2 a bottle. Well, if the market has agreed that Coca-Cola is $1.59 for a 2-liter, and that's where the price is set. So people are buying it and you're selling it, right? Maybe you go up to $1.69. But you're out of your fucking mind to go up to $2.95 from $1.50 and think everybody would accept the price increase. I mean, at least go up a little. If you went up to $1.79 and then $1.99, maybe. But to take it from $1.59 to $2.95 and think anybody's going to take this, you're out of your fucking minds. You don't know what you're doing. Whoever's running that business is out of their fucking minds, and they're doing it. Pepsi's the worst with Fritos and Cheetos and Doritos and all Pepsi products. They own all the chips. So they just jacked out. I was going to get some Doritos the other day, and they're now like $2.69 for what, the 2-ounce bag. I said, this is fucking, I should be buying the whole bag for $2.69. See, psychologically, you're selling them at 99 cents for the 1-ouncer, and that's okay. You didn't mind spending 99 cents for the 1-ouncer, 1.5 ouncer at the gas station. Just enough. You don't want a whole big fucking bag of chips. You just want enough chips, a little bit of chips. So you go with it. Now it's $2.60 for Fritos at the gas station, and it's like 3 ounces now. I don't want 3 ounces. I just want the little ounce, and give me the 1.25 ounces for 99 cents. That's what I want. That's what the market wants. You're fucking with the market. The market doesn't want to pay $2.62 for 3 ounces of Fritos or Doritos. There's no market for that. You fucked up the market. You had the market at 99 cents. Very critical not to go over $1. Not only you go over it, you go up to $2.60. Well, I got news for you. Nobody's interested in $2.60 for chips that are not healthy for you. So that's why you don't mind the 99 cents for the 1 ounce or 1.5 ounces. It's enough to eat without giving you cancer and everything and killing you. So what are you doing? But they do that all the time. They went way up, and then everybody's like, I can't afford that. I'm not getting a raise. I'm lucky if I'm not laid off. Look at me. I had 3 interviews with this one company. The last interview was now a week and a half. It was on a Monday, and now we went this Monday. I still haven't heard. They were interviewing 2 more people. Okay, now what? What kind of communication does this company have that they're not saying what's going on? Or my recruiter, where's he? I don't know. So if you don't get the job, you'll never know. It's like if people don't tell you something's happening, you just don't know. So it's like the same thing here. You're not telling me A or B. So it's up to me to now contact the recruiter to go, what's going on? And don't give me an I don't know. I'll email the VP saying, look, you told me there was 2 jobs available. I don't know what's going on. What's the story? Why is nobody contacting me? If you don't want me, I'll just go somewhere else. I'm waiting at Harley and I'm waiting at GM. So it doesn't matter to me. I can't create my own job, which is what I'm trying to do with Teaserking and what I do with gold. This is creating my own job. Buying this and then letting it go to the moon. That's creating my own job. Oh, I'm gonna have a lot of money because gold and silver are gonna go to the moon because they're inflating the dollar. That's creating my own job, and I've done that. That's what Teaserking is. It's creating my own job. I'm gonna handicap, and I'm damn good at it. So that's what I'm gonna do. But it doesn't pay enough to not do the other work, unless I got John Anthony and Al Pacino to put me on TV. Oh God, I hate those movies. They're so stupid. They're so unrealistic. Yeah, John, I pick 80% because I know the players better than themselves. 6 weeks later, he's 2-12. Well, I guess I don't know the players. I'm gonna run home to mommy because I'm gonna cry. Unbelievable. So anyway, the market at these stores, this is what happens when you fuck with the market. The market says you can sell, I can sell this book for $9.99 and you're pushing it at 14. And if it goes any higher, I'll look for something else. This is ridiculous at 14. I don't care that your costs go up. What I care about is what I have to pay for it. What is the market? You can sell it for what the market will bear. I found this at Target. I think there's only a couple of them anyway, but that's what you're trying to do. So you're trying to sell things for what the market will buy it for. And if your price is too high, the market's not going to buy it. You got to lower your price. So that's all they're doing here at these retailers, Walmart and Target. They're all out of their fucking minds. I went to Walmart last week and I did notice a lot of prices down because they're not making money. You make money by selling your inventory. That's how retail works. Oh, I'm going to buy Heinz ketchup. What is the consumer want to pay for it? Oh, okay, $1.99. That's what, okay, it's selling. I make it $2.59. Nobody buys it. Well, I got to lower the price. I can't cry inflation. Nobody cares because it affects all of us. You're killing the value of the dollar. So the only way we do this to fight inflation, that's what this is. The prices haven't gone up. This has no value. Why do you think every country is de-dollarizing? If the US dollar was so great, why would they leave it? They wouldn't. Saudi Arabia just said, fuck you, and they're off the petrodollar. So it's a lot of, if everything was so rosy, you wouldn't have it. So basically, you have to understand economics and markets. You can sell it for what the market will bear. If the market says you want to sell ketchup at $2.99 and people buy it at $2.99, enough for you to make profit, that's your number. You can't just turn it into $4.99 and expect everybody to buy it. People aren't stupid. The market is set at $2.99. I'll use Coca-Cola. That's probably the better example. I'll buy your 2-liter at $1.59. Occasionally you put it on sale for $99, I'd buy more. Or if it's 4th of July, Memorial Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day, yeah, I know you're going to barbecue, so I'll make ketchup cheaper and hamburgers and hamburger buns cheaper and the pop cheaper because I know you're going to buy it because you're going to have barbecues. So I lower the price then to increase sales because if I don't, the other people my competition's going to lower the price. So you have to figure out the market. You've already figured out the market at the grocery stores because that's what you've been doing. You've been selling Coke for $1.59 for, you pushed it up from $99 to $1.59. You got away with it. So the market's adjusted to it and they've agreed to buy it. To go to $2.95, Did you think the market would say, fine, no problem? I wouldn't own Coke or Pepsi stock for all the tea in China. I guarantee you they're probably crap. They're probably losing their ass because they are not making sales. People don't need Coke and Pepsi and chips. I mean, I know when I want to get chips, I get Better Made. I don't get Doritos. They're too expensive. I know they're bad for me, but I just want a littler package at a cheaper price. Better Made's fine. I mean, it tastes okay. I don't, how good are Fritos? So you're outpricing yourself way over market. So therefore, nobody buys your product. Therefore, you don't sell. Therefore, your earnings drop. Therefore, your stock drops, and you're all fired. That's what idiots do. So you're trying to blame inflation for your price increases, like you thought everybody would just our loyal brand. I'm going to buy Heinz ketchup. I'm going to buy Wishbone dressing, no matter what the price. You're out of your minds. That's what competition is. This is the beauty of Adam Smith in competition. He sells Fritos, he sells Doritos, he sells Better Made, he sells Target brand or Meyer brand. And that's people are mostly cost conscious, especially when all the prices are going up. What do I do? So I start cutting costs. I start buying cheaper stuff. And that's the point, because you only have so much in there. So as I've explained in the beginning about free markets, you have to determine what the price is in the market and what your cost is. So if this Bellagio cup is in the market, sells for $15, $14.99. How much does it cost me to make it? So if it's about $8 or $9, I make it, and then I sell it for $14.99. If my costs go to $20, and I can't assume I'm going to sell it for $22, $23 because the market says $14.99. This is what I'm going to pay for this Bellagio coffee. I like Bellagio. It's a pretty color. I'll pay $14.99. But don't fucking assume that because there's inflation, which is created by the government fucking with the dollar, that I'll pay $25 for the Bellagio mug because it's a Bellagio mug. No fucking way. I've agreed $14.99, and that's my comfort level. And if your costs go to 20, you need to get out. You don't try to raise your cost. You can try to raise your costs at first, but this is 2-3 years later for Walmart and these guys. This is already a few years. But that's the thing. You don't sit there and can you still sell it in the market is the question. And that's really what you're trying to do. So you've determined that in the beginning. It cost me $8 or $9. I can sell it for $14.99. I'm going to make a profit. Is there demand? Yeah, $14.99. My prices have gone up because of inflation. My costs have gone up because of inflation. Now it costs me $18.99 to make it. But the market says I can only sell it for $14.99. Do I think I can sell it for $21.99? Are you kidding me? You set the price at $14.99 in the market. It's been there for 5 years now. Why would you think that that's not the optimum price? If you could, you would have sold it for $17.99, but you can't. You can sell it at $14.99. So don't think because your costs went up, you can raise your price and sell it. You can't. Your only option is to lay off half your workforce and or go out of business. But you cannot fuck with the market. You cannot just raise your price thinking that the market will allow it. The market will not allow it. And that's what we're seeing at Walmart's and Target and all these, Home Depot. The market's saying, no way, you cannot double your price. You can't make cocoa from $1.59 to $2.95. And I've seen it $3.25 at my meat store, but I don't usually buy stuff there. I go to Meijer's for my stuff, and I go to the meat store for my meat, and that's it. So anyway, you can't just see, you've got a model that says, what is the selling price of A? And after selling it in the market and doing everything, you realize that At $14.99, you can sell it. At $17.99, nobody wants it. So you realize that. So don't start raising prices. You've already got your optimal price. So when Chips Ahoy wants to raise their price from $2.99 to $5, are you out of your mind? Who do you think's going to buy it? You're not going to buy it. Nobody's going to buy it at that. The price was set at $2.99 for Chips Ahoy or Oreos or Fritos, Rice Krispies or Fruit Loops. And now you're trying to raise the price, but the market is not going to go with it. The market is sitting there going, no, this is what I'm going to pay, $2.99 for this. You want to market $5. Don't be surprised when nobody buys it. And don't be surprised when, if they do, they're going to buy less. Most people will go to the generic brand, or they'll just substitute where I don't buy cereal now. I'll buy oatmeal, or I'll buy Pop-Tarts or something else you'll buy to have for cereal instead of Cheerios. And that's what happens. But don't be that arrogant that you think that the market will accept a price increase. If they would have, you would have done the price increase 3 years ago, right? Your costs were $8.99. You're selling for $14.99. If you could, you'd sell it at $17.99, but you couldn't. So just because your costs go up and they announce inflation, oh yeah, well, I paid $14.99. Yeah, sure, I'll pay $25.99 for it. Not a problem. Are you kidding? That's how you set the price in the first place, was the $14.99. So I'll take you back to my rib place because I love using this example. It's the same thing I told them a year ago. If you raise the price on your ribs to $45, you won't have anybody here. Nobody's going to pay $45 for a slab of ribs that you're selling now for $28. If you go over 30, you won't have any customers. And you can see what's happening, right? This is exactly what's happening at these stores. They mark the prices up and nobody's buying. And now they're all panicking. They're losing money. Their stock's going down because people are like, I'm not going to buy there, or I'll buy less, or I'll cook more. Like the restaurants have got to be getting killed because who's going to eat there? As much as if going to Walmart and Target are too expensive, can you imagine going to a nice Italian or the steakhouse and going there to eat and thinking, how expensive is that place now? So what do they think they're going to do? So anyway, that's what you have. So I told the rib place, you go to 45 and you're closed. You can't do it. You can't you've set the market. If you could sell your ribs for 45, you would be selling them for 45. You can sneak in $1 increase. You can't just go from 28 to 45. Nobody will buy. Or they'll come once every 3 months for mom's birthday or something. That's it. They're not going to, now you get regular customers, right? Take Wendy's. People probably go there 2-3 times a week for the Wendy's and the chili and the baked potato. But if you raise the price, all of a sudden you're going once a week, and you're going to the grocery store to buy 3 pounds of the cheap meat and making 10 hamburgers, saying, kids, here's dinner. I'm cooking. We're not going out. So you substitute your cost, because your profit doesn't go up. You don't get a raise at work. You're lucky if you keep your job. Look at me. So to defend this, and that's what I'm saying, is you do this. This hedges all the price increases, because as those go up, this goes up. And this is now $2,400 where it was $1,700. And it should be, it should be $10,000. It will be as soon as they kill the comex. It's illegal now, and China and Russia just got to announce gold-backed currency or BRICS or whatever. I thought they did, and Alligator saying, "Oh well, they didn't announce it at the summit." I thought they did announce it at the summit. They just didn't bring it out yet, but it's already been announced. So I don't know what Mark Alligator's. I think he's losing it. I don't know if he knows what he's talking about. According to Mark McGuire, it's already been rolled out. They're waiting to roll it out. It's already been approved. So he's saying, well, China and India didn't want it. No. They're going along with BRICS. Russia wants the gold. The only reason BRICS works is not on the yuan. The only reason BRICS will work is that the currency's gold back. Otherwise, nobody wants to be in it. Problem is there's no competition with the dollar. So back to our thing. You could only sell things. You've got to know what the market will do. And don't think you can just raise prices. The market is not going to accept that. Even in a highly inflationary period like 1923 Germany or Zimbabwe or Venezuela, the value of your dollar is going to nothing. And the value of the dollar here is going to nothing. So people will have to pay more because the dollar's worthless. But right now, people don't realize the dollar's worthless. So Target and Walmart are like at the 23rd hour going, oh shit, our sales are down, our income's down, our stock's going down, we're fucked. So they're in the only thing they can do, which is to lower their cost because the market's saying I'm not paying $5 for a box of Cheerios. It ain't happening. These were $2.50, $2.99. That's it. That's all I'm paying. Oreos, cookies, ice cream. Ice cream, I still see at a reasonable price. But people aren't going to buy it like that. So that's what you get into. So all these stores are losing their ass because they raise prices and are don't know what they're doing. No. We can't raise prices. It's not an option. The prices have already been set by the market. So if this is $14.99 in the market, I can't just make it $25 and expect anybody to buy it. Because if I could, I would have done it before. So the $14.99 is the market price for the coffee mug. That's why you're not. That's why you can't raise prices. The market won't allow it. The market will only allow what the market agrees on. What does the buyer and the seller agree to? What does Adam Smith agree to? So I will pay for scone $1.99. And then the guy across the street sees it and makes his scone $1.59. And then they go to $1.39. Eventually it ends at 99 cents. But now this happens, and now the baker raises it to $4. You think he's going to sell any scones? No, because the market has set the price at, let's say, the $1.99. Let's just keep it simple. So the first baker's selling at $1.99. The second baker, okay, we won't go on a bidding war. We'll sell it for $1.99. So 2, 3, 5 bakeries selling it at $1.99. That's what the public's agreed to pay for it. So you can only sell it if there's a buyer. As I say, Canadian Club, I can only sell it if there's a buyer. I can only sell it if there's a buyer, and there ain't no buyers for this. But so it's got to work both ways. I can only sell this on eBay if there's a buyer for it. So let's say I try to sell this card and I see it for $2,000. So I put $10,000. Think I'm going to sell it? No, because the market's saying $2,000. Well, we can go back to our eBay where we've seen the Brady card for. Let's see what our Brady card's going for now. Our Tom Brady card's going for $7 million. Yet, we haven't seen it sold yet. This is not the market price of the Brady card. Okay, that's a bit much. Let's go to the Mantle. $72,000 for a PSA 9 1968 Mantle card. Is that the market? Well, this guy's having trouble selling it. He's probably charging too much, but he doesn't care. He doesn't want to take less than $72,000. But if it was the free market, he would be getting 72,000. So let's go to our Joe Montana card. All right, Joey M, 125,000. I've seen this sold for 100. So he's over market, and look what happens. He can't sell it. It's worth about that, but not quite. And with everything else, people aren't buying it. But that's really what the price is what it's sold for. So I usually go to the sold section of it. But that's the point. It's the market tells you what you can do, what you can buy and sell for. That's the point of the market. That's why gold is fucked and silver, they're not the market. These derivatives come in, and I'm going to sell all these options and futures and contracts. Okay, that's paper gold. Where's this? How do you not have a fucking market for this? A physical market of this. I'm putting it on eBay. We're not going to look at COMEX. We're just going to look at this. How do you not have that pricing for gold and silver? And apparently copper and a few other, even oil probably. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's what I bitch about, is you're not having the free market for gold and silver as we do for, Coca-Cola and Pepsi at the grocery store. That's the market. They put it on the shelf at $2.99. Nobody buys it. You're too high. Lower your price, which is what they indirectly do by saying, buy 2 bottles, and instead of paying $2.95 a bottle, you pay $4 for 2 bottles. So we'll give you a discount because we're hunting for the price. So we'll sell it at $2 a bottle, but you got to buy 2 bottles, which you'll buy anyway, or Fritos 2 for $4, or $5 for 1. I mean, so you see these all day. You see these to try to get to the right price, but they're stuck with so much inventory that they're saying, well, we got to sell 2 of them because we can't sell any of them. But you see almost every product, 2 for 1 or 3 for 2 or something like that, because they can't sell them because they've created an inadequate market. Where are you getting these prices for these goods? They're not accurate. Coke, we've agreed on 159. You market 295. We don't agree to that. So that's what's happening to these retails in panic. They're trying to come up with this fake pricing, and nobody smells what they're cooking. Nobody wants it. So they're all just saying we're not. But they got to buy the inventory, but you can't sell the inventory. That's how a grocery store works. I buy all this Fritos and they're paying Pepsi for the Fritos, but I'm going to mark it up, but I got to sell them. And if I don't sell them, I paid for the inventory, but I can't sell the inventory. And I got to lower the price. And don't take the price increase from Pepsi. Say, sorry, I'm not going to pay more for Fritos. That's I can't afford it because I can't sell it for that price. And that's what these grocers need to understand, but they're all fucking Keynesians, is they can't sell it for the price. They can't just accept it at a higher price thinking, well, we'll just charge the customers. And now they're learning a lesson. You can't do it to the customers. You cannot sit there and raise the prices and think everybody's so stupid that we're going to pay more for cornflakes and Fruit Loops. No, we're not. We'll buy the off-brand, or we'll wait for it on sale, buy 2 at half off or whatever. We're not paying, $5 a box for Fritos. No way. All right, so that's retailers. So now let's go to Mark McGuire or Alligator. This is a brand new video.
Let's say you were 35 and you think that there is a way out on.
So we're going to get to the 31-minute mark. And I swear to God, he got this from me because I don't know where else he's getting it from.
It's going to get the economy going, stop the imports, which will help, sort of thing. This is the logic. I mean, this is crazy logic. Pray it all comes right. It won't. It just won't. This is a very different time from when President Reagan was there.
He's
we
talking
didn't have
about
a GDP ratio of 130%.
Let's go.
Precisely. Taking a bit of inflationary pressure out of the steam out of the system. I can see them pushing that sort of argument, but it doesn't actually cut any ice. I mean, the person you want to listen to in America is Jamie Dimon.
No, we don't want to.
Dimon
he's
makes
mafia.
it quite clear that the outlook is very dangerous. He says he's pessimistic on the economy. And what this means is that the banks from the top downwards are restricting their lending. They cannot, in aggregate, cut their balance sheets. So what they're doing is they've diverted their lending from the private sector. And if you go around America and talk to small and medium-sized businesses and ask them about, the ability to borrow money from the banks, I mean, they will tell you in no uncertain terms, there ain't none. It's almost impossible. Instead, this money is being funneled into short-term T-bills, which has been basically funding the government's deficit. And the government's, you've had, there's a headline, a couple of months back, that the government debt increased by $1 trillion in 90 days. It's a pace that is accelerating. But the reason that it's happening is because all the liquidity in the economy is tending to go away from the private sector into funding government spending, which is non-productive and inflationary. So the inflation dragon is actually still being fueled. On top of that, with the foreigners not buying dollars and at the margin selling, as we've seen with the Chinese central bank, with the People's Bank of China, then that means that the borrowing along the yield curve is going to get increasingly difficult. And you're going to see interest rates, bond yields, far higher out along that yield curve. We had the same situation in Britain back in the 1970s. And I can tell you that there were three gilts, which is the equivalent of US treasuries, issued with coupons of 15% and more in the mid 1970s. That is what happens with the debt trap when you've got continuing inflation, underpinning the situation and therefore weakening the currency at the same time. This is a situation which President Biden is making worse, and there is absolutely no sign that President Trump, if he's re-elected as president, will actually put the situation right. I think his mindset is more sort of Reaganomics than anything else, which basically means, cut taxes, assume that that's going to get the economy going, stop the imports, which will help, sort of thing. This is the logic. I mean, this is crazy logic. Pray it all comes right. It won't. It just won't. This is a very different time from when President Reagan was there.
Yeah, we didn't have a debt to GDP ratio of 130%.
Precisely. Precisely.
All right, so the price of gold came plummeting down a couple of days ago last week. The news of China ceasing their gold buying.
Now listen to this explanation.
Story from what I've read, it appears that they may have been having trouble finding the quantity that they've been accumulating over time. So can you add more color in terms of why gold reacted to the news in the way that it did, and what more there is to the China gold buying story?
The reason it reacted the way it did had nothing to do with the price of physical gold. It was all paper gold. Paper gold is credit, which you can create out of thin air if you're a bank. If you've got a banking license, you can create gold contracts, whether it's futures or forwards or whatever. The one thing you don't want to do is to take settlement. The swaps on COMEX have got themselves very, very short. And I'm sure that there are bullion banks in the same position in the London market as well, which of course is quite a bit larger. So it has been very much in their interest because they know what's going on. They've seen what's going on. They have been confused by it, but they now find that they are in a position of extreme danger with the physical stuff disappearing and the paper market's potentially losing control of the pricing. They want to close their positions down. And so consequently, they have moved very, very aggressively to do so. And if you look at the open interest on COMEX, it has virtually collapsed from something like 520,000 contracts down to, well, I think, last night we were looking at something like 430 odd.
Everybody, it's Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. Listen, isn't it time we set aside the side hustle?
430 odd thousand contracts, which taking it as an overbought, oversold indicator is very much an oversold indicator. So, and the structure of the market has also changed against the swaps. The swaps basically have, it's mostly comprised of bullion bank trading desks, but the producers are not hedging. In the past, when you had the spike up at 1900 back in 2011, 2012, the producers were short of 200,000 contracts, over 200,000 contracts. And that, if you like, meant that the short position in the market makers was not nearly as great as it is today. So they were able to hit the market very hard, and they drove the price down from 1900 down to something like 1,050 over period of 3 years. The swaps cannot do that today because the position in the producers is that they are net short of less than 50,000 contracts. The rest of the short side in the COMEX market is being borne by the swaps. And this is not something they can escape from. And if you look at what's been going on over the last 2 or 3 years with stands to delivery in the COMEX market, this is effectively taking physical liquidity out of the market. I mean, huge tonnages are being taken out. This year so far, since January the 1st, up to last week, roughly 253 tons of gold had been stood for delivery. And this is a non-delivery market. And compare that with the annual output of America. The annual output of the United States is around about 167,000 tons. That's the estimate for this year. Already this year, 253 tons has been stood for delivery on COMEX. That is the extent of the draining. Now, the situation for the establishment is getting worse, and they are becoming aware of this. And that is because of the massive level of savings.
So he asked them why the gold price dropped. And we finally got an honest answer, which I told you guys last week. Don't worry, that's all the derivatives. It's the Eddie Murphy. It's trading places. They're all contracts. They're all options. They're just simply selling first and buying later. I don't get into the swaps. I'm not that technical of options like that, but I get the concept and I get what's going on. They're selling and then buying. And that's what I started the class with, right? So he's finally admitting that it's all paper gold, not physical gold. So he must have listened to me, because now he's going that way with, this is, it's paper. It had nothing to do with the Chinese and this, that, and the other. It was strictly, it got to 2387. They did derivatives that they sold first and then bought. And that's what happened. And that's why price dropped. And it's all, but they're running out of derivatives. So I'll get back to that in a minute. I got to get some water. But that's the whole issue of what's going on. So anyway, it's nice to finally hear him understand what's going on. A lot of it is China. All the people are saving gold. They're buying gold because it's in their savings account, which she's going to get to. So let's listen.
China, at a household savings rate of roughly 35% of GDP, that's the equivalent of $6 trillion at current exchange rates. It's not going into property. It's not going into stocks. It's going into bank deposits. And increasingly, it's going into gold. Now, $6 trillion is the equivalent of 75,000 tons of gold, current prices. So
let me let you in on a little secret here. All of these American investors have it backward.
You don't have to be the brain of the bullion bank in London to know that this is a problem. So how do you deal with it? You've got to close your positions down. And that also means where you've got unallocated gold accounts with the bank's customers, you have got to close those down too as well. The one thing that your Treasury Department in the bank will not permit is for you to load up on gold because, banks are not in the business of owning stuff. They're in the business of dealing in credit. And, if you've got a position, just close the bloody position. Don't go out and try and buy gold. So you can see that there is a hell of a problem which is built up over a long period of time through habit as much as anything else. The bullion banks have been able to control the market basically by flooding the market with gold-denominated credit. Whenever the buyers come in, it just takes the buyers out. Buyers get tired, and then suddenly you bang it and you take out all their stops. It's a wonderful game, so long as nobody actually stands for delivery. That, however, has come to an end, and it's also coming to an end quite dramatically in silver. So that's the background.
All right, so that's the Madoff. They would do the derivatives. So you're buying gold thinking it's a good investment, which it is. And then they're doing these paper derivative contracts, pushing the price down, selling. And the buyers are like, why is the price going down? They're getting the shit kicked out of them when they shouldn't be. It's totally illegal because it's like selling them a home car, like I said, but I don't have it. I'm going to sell 20 of these. 20 buyers. Oh, I don't have it. I was just selling it. So that's what you have with what's going on with obviously Comex. But the game's over, Luke. You've asked me when. It's over very, very soon. It's ending quickly. And he says for silver also. That is the good news. And then the price should go to a physical price, a real price, and that's what we're headed for. So
you have this big currency reset coming down the pike. What does this spell for gold and silver? What has history taught us about past currency resets? What happens to the price of gold? What happens to the price of silver? What happens to commodities during these times?
Well, I think that, Danny, the description, what happens to the price of gold, is actually looking at it the wrong way around. What happens to the purchasing power of your fiat currency? Yes. Because the purchasing power of gold and silver sort of more or less remains. Obviously, it's not constant. It's moving all the time. But it's a lot more stable than that of a fiat currency.
Right.
Now, I'll answer your question another way. This was in the autobiography of an Austrian writer. His name comes back. He wrote about the inflation in Germany in 1923. And at one point, you could go out and you could buy a 6-bedroom house in a swanky part of Berlin for $100. Now, the US dollar at that stage was at 20.67 to the ounce. So, you could buy a 6-bedroom house for 5 ounces of gold. I think that answers your question.
Yeah. You could buy a nice toga.
So the question was, if I buy gold and silver, how much is it going to go to? What's it really? That's really what he's asking is how much is the gold and silver going to go? And the alligator refuses to answer it because he sits there and says, well, it's not the gold going up, it's the dollar going down. Fella, alligator, the dollar's gone. It can't go down anymore. And then he tried to answer it by saying, well, gold and silver will go up a lot. It's just, that's his answer in the roundabout way, why he can't be definitive and just say, obviously the demand is driving the price up because nobody's going to want to hold dollars. So I don't know why he didn't answer it, but yes, gold and silver are going to the moon as the dollar goes out. It's very simple.
1,000 years ago with an ounce of gold, and you can buy a finely tailored suit in today's currency with the same price of an ounce of gold. So
that's very interesting because I had a look at.
All right. First of all, the price of the ounce, you don't know what the price of the ounce of gold is, right? You're going with this 23.30 or whatever it is. It's not the real price of an ounce of gold. It's the price of a paper contracted ounce of gold. If you really had the real price of, let's say, 10,000, you're buying more than one suit with this ounce of gold. So you got to be careful because you're not getting a real price, as I just said. We're getting the paper price. So this guy doesn't, he loses credibility.
Edict on prices. For those who don't know, Diocletian was the emperor, about 250 AD, 60 AD, something like that, who saw the purchasing power of the Roman currency at the time collapse. And so he put in an edict of maximum prices. I'm waiting for politicians today to do that when they find that inflation starts rising and interest rates with it. Anyway, we'll pass on that for a moment. But the fascinating thing is that there were quite a lot of items in his edict which haven't changed very much in terms of price between then and now. Quite a lot of the edict was about, the price for slaves, different classes of slaves and all the rest of it. We don't have a slave market to make the comparison today, thank goodness. But,
we're all
everyday
slaves.
Things like beer and, food, that sort of thing. And as you say, togas and so on. Coats, boots, army boots, these things are, they haven't changed hugely. My colleague at Gold Money, James Turk, put together a very interesting chart looking at the price of oil measured in gold and the price of oil measured in dollars. And I mean, the volatility measured in dollars and also other currencies was just staggering. Well, we know that it's been up to 140, and at one stage, in I think April 2020, it was even a minus figure. But in gold, it's more or less the same price as it was in the early 1950s. When at the time it was $2.50 a barrel or something. I reckon that the price has probably in gold it's fallen about 20-30%, something like that, from that time. And the most it's been has been sort of double or 2.5 times, and the worst it's been is sort of half. That's stability. Certainly compared with pricing it in fiat currencies, which have just been crazy.
do you see the price?
And incidentally, the Saudis will know this too.
Yeah. Well, what about silver? So gold is a. Well, what about silver? So gold is a holder of value. Silver, will it trace gold's or
Silver is
will it
money.
behave in much the same way that gold does in these currency resets, or does silver kind of pave its own trail?
Bit of both, really. It's fascinating because silver really is entirely an industrial metal. I mean, if it was being priced as money,
That
the
is
gold
my
silver ratio would be back to where it was at the time of Sir Isaac Newton or whatever. I mean, we'd be looking around about 15 times, something of that order. As it is, it's 78 times, which so is not priced as money at all. But the fascinating thing is that when gold rises, it rises twice as fast, or nearly twice as fast on average. The problem is that when gold stops rising, it tends to fall. But then it's very much a manipulated market. I reckon the Chinese have controlled the price very effectively for some considerable time. But they're losing that control now because the Indians are coming in with industrial demand big time to offset their carbon footprint with coal-fired power stations and all the rest of it. The government policy has been to support, subsidize, encourage large industrials in India to produce photovoltaic cells. And Reliance Industries, which is one of the big conglomerates, opened its first 5 gigawatt production facility in March. Now, I reckon that a lot of the standing for delivery that's been going on on comex has actually been Reliance Industries and its competitors, because where else do they get the silver? It's just not there. It's taken out elsewhere. I mean, I think we're looking at the third or fourth year of a deficit of supply compared with demand. So they're drawing down on stocks the whole time. And so the liquidity's gone from the market. And I think, so what I can see is that the price of silver will go considerably higher as this trend continues without considering monetary factors at all. But if you look at the traditional relationship between gold and silver in the market, then market operators, I think, will tend to move the two in tandem because they've always done it that way, and that's what's going to happen. So it's a fascinating situation. Copper is another one which is interesting because that was also a monetary metal. No longer. I mean, I think virtually every country which had copper coins has, replaced it with cheaper alternatives. Aluminium in some cases. Yet, who's been hoarding the copper? I mean, China has been hoarding the copper. That's the fascinating thing. And one wonders why. Because they've been buying copper in larger quantities than they actually consume. We don't know how long that's going to continue, but you can see that there are these games going on in commodities, which mean that the whole of, if you like, sort of government's approach to commodity stockpiling and all the rest of it is changing, and it's coming back rather than going away. I mean, in the bad old days, excuse me, in the bad old days, back in the sort of 50s and 60s, America used to stockpile huge quantities of strategic metals, including silver, by the way. But they stopped doing that a long time ago. But that does seem to be coming back. It's coming back particularly in China and I guess probably some other allied countries like India.
There's a cliche that I'm sure you've heard, and that is Dr. Copper is kind of like your leading indicator of the health of the economy. Is there any weight to that, or is that just simply a cliche that's kind of run its course?
No, there is a lot of sense in it because in the same way as, we can't exist without oil, oil demand, if you like, is a very good substitute for really understanding, what's going on in an economy or in the global economy. The same is true of copper because it's central to things like power generation, the whole of the EV thing, along with silver, obviously. China has this dream, let's call it a dream, to basically industrialize the whole of Asia. And that does mean bringing things like communications, electricity, and all the rest of it, electrification of railways and so on. So you can see that the demand for copper from just China's, if you like.
You're watching a toothbrush play Billie Eilish.
From just China's, if you like, really significant plans to industrialize the whole of Asia, the copper story could be a very interesting one. But I mean, it's not going to get there in one leap by any stretch of the imagination or over an even course. It will fluctuate, and it does depend to a large extent to what point China sort of suddenly thinks, well, we've got enough copper for now, because when it withdraws from the market, I think that the price of copper could actually come off quite sharply. But that's just a personal opinion. I mean, stockpiling is certainly something we're seeing at the moment. And, until we know otherwise, assume it will continue.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it just seems this is more of an inevitability. Now, do I know when it will happen? The answer is no. But you do see the tides beginning to turn towards the precious metals market. And on this channel, we have Miles Franklin as our sponsor for this video and others. And if you email them at info@milesfranklin, you'll get the very best deals that you will see anywhere else. Email them at info@milesfranklin and tell them that Capital Cosm sent me in the subject line, and they'll send you the price guide, and you can kind of look at that and make a decision on your own. No commitment necessary. Alistair McLeod, thank you so much for coming on, my friend.
Alligator McLeod. So you always get into trouble when you don't use the market. And that's what I've been teaching you guys for years. Same thing with the Titanic, same thing with gambling and everything else. You're trying to get the truth, you're trying to get the market. So with these derivatives, he said it, they're flooding paper gold to get a gold price on an exchange that's really not for it's really not for physical price, it's for futures price. It's supposed to be derivatives. So why isn't there a gold market price? It's amazing. One second. So why isn't there a physical gold price? That's ridiculous. How could there not be a physical gold price? So nobody really knows the value of gold, knows that wow, look at the gold. It's 2,300. Even when we look at it, when I go and look at it with you guys and I show it, right? Like this price is not anything to do with physical price. It's 23.23, but this isn't. These are all options. So again, they put in a put option. They sold it at 23.40, and they're buying it back at 23.18, and now it's back to 20. So it's all a bunch of options. It's a game. Oh, it goes up, I'm going to sell it, and it goes down, I'm going to buy it, and that's all it is. There's no buying or selling going on with gold at all. Like I said, every one of us could buy 100 tons of gold, which is a lot, and it wouldn't affect the price at all because this is not looking at the market. It's all looking at paper. It's all derivatives, put options and call options, put downs and call ups. That's all it is. Right now it's going through a call option. They put the option in at 23.19. So that's why we got to break it up, which it sounds like it's being broken up because if they're caught without having the physical, they're in trouble. And that's really what's blowing it up, but they don't have it yet, right? They still have some left. So it's like saying, well, I'm going to stop eating ice cream, but, I'm going to finish the carton. I got a half gallon and, I had 2 scoops of it. So I'm going to stop. But when I finish the half gallons, when I'll stop. And that's how it is with the comex. They're going to stop, but when they finish the physical gold, they'll stop. So it's going to happen soon, but you don't know when I'm going to finish the carton of ice cream. They don't know when that's going to happen. So they know it's happening and it's much more reduced, but they don't know when. Anyway, so that's your gold and silver. So Alligator finally talked about paper gold. Unbelievable. I was so happy because that's what I've been saying. It's paper gold, not physical. And anything they say is bullshit. It's contracts are being all it is the Eddie Murphy game. I'm going to sell it high, and when it goes down, I'm going to buy it, and then I want it to go back. I'm going to buy another one and have it go up, and when it goes up, I'm going to sell it. And I think when China and India interfere and start doing, we want to actually take delivery. That's when the Ponzi scheme ends, just like in Madoff. When they started wanting their money back, I'm going to give you, here's $1 million Madoff, and I get all these little whatever each month. I get interest, and that's fine until I want my money out. He's not expecting me to pull my million out. Just the little percentage, the 15%, is what he's trying to cover. So if he's got 1,000 people Madoff, he's only anticipating them wanting their interest. Okay, how much interest do I need? I need 500 million. Okay, so we need to bring in $1 billion a month. That'll cover all that plus any new. And that's how he played it until everybody wanted their money out. I need it. It's the stock market crashing. I need money. Sorry, I need it. And where he would go for money, they weren't giving him because they needed it. So that was the big Ponzi scheme, right? He needed enough to pay the interest, but he wasn't able, if everybody sold all their money and wanted their money, which is what was happening. It's the same thing here. It's okay, but now if you sell it, somebody can take the delivery of the physical gold. So it's a really strange market that is allowing this to happen without the physical. But then Russia and China and India can say, I want the physical. So they take the physical. And now, wait a minute, I can't keep selling these options if I don't have, I'm running out of physical. So that's what he's saying. They're running out of these open contracts or whatever it is. I'm not that familiar with the option market and how the banks do this bullshit. Just enough to know that they are, when it goes up, they are selling put contracts to put down the price. And then when the price drops, like Eddie Murphy, then they are selling it. So they're buying the contract. So you sell first, you buy second, as opposed to normally buy and then sell. And that's what happens. So that's what it made off. They all took it. And here they're all asking for the delivery of the gold. And that breaks this Ponzi scheme up because they're doing it where they're basically buying and selling between themselves. So Eddie Murphy's selling, and then Dan Aykroyd's buying, and then it pushes the price up, and then Eddie Murphy sells it, pushes the price down, and Dan Aykroyd buys. That's what they're doing. Nobody was taking delivery of the orange juice. But here, if you start taking delivery of the gold and silver, the Ponzi scheme ends because then, wait a minute, I don't have any more gold. I can't play. I could only do the option now because of Basel III, that I have to have some gold, physical gold, and they can ask for it. So China and Russia and India are asking for it. So now they are running out. Now it's like we're running out of gold. And that's why they all went to, as we heard yesterday on the other guy, they're all going to Shanghai to get physical so they can keep playing the game. But they can't get gold. So the gold is ending because they keep buying the gold. They keep taking delivery of it. Now there's not very much left. Silver, they did take some silver, but that's ending because India wants so much of it. They're taking huge delivery that there just isn't going to be much silver left. So basically this game is ending very quickly. And once this game ends, and then we need to get a physical game, and that's what we're counting on, is let it just go to a physical price. So will BRICS reset it, or Russia or China or whatever, reset the gold price at 10, 15,000. And then we're all happy because that's what we're expecting, is them to reprice the gold and silver at a normal price, because this price is bullshit. If you think this is anywhere near the real price, you're out of your mind. Because since they're doing it all with paper and derivatives, and 1,000 ounces sells 50,000, you're not anywhere near, because you've got, like the other guy was saying, you've got like millions and millions of ounces out there that doesn't exist. So I can't go into my file, but so I've got where it's 300 million ounces. I got to figure out how many tons, and it's not that much. So I went into the guy and I said, "Can't you say tons? Nobody gives a shit about ounces. We know there's 255,000 tons of gold. How much are we talking? Don't tell me ounces. That's ridiculous." So anyway, I wrote to him. Now, this Diocletian empire wanted to stop inflation. So here's what Diocletian did. He divided the empire. He inflated the money supply, put in wage and price controls, and it destroyed the Roman Empire, or the Roman economy. Because as the value of the dollar drops, the price has to go up. And if you keep the price low, we're going to keep milk at $5. Well, wait, with the inflation, it takes more than $5. The dollar's worth less, so it takes more than $5 to buy the milk. But if you price fix it, then it screws up the economy. And that's what, if you watch these Biden commercials, I'm on YouTube and they got all these stupid Biden commercials, or the Tubi or something. I'm watching my movies and here's Biden. But they're clever in the way they're calling it. They're not calling it price fixing. They're calling it, well, I'm putting a cap on insulin at $35, whatever. Well, as the dollar loses value, nobody's going to have insulin because they're not going to be able to make it and make profit at 35, so they won't make it. I'm not going to make this. So if it's now $25, but it cost me $50, why would I make this anymore? I'm not going to make this. If my costs are more than what I can sell it for at the market, I can't sell it. I'm going out of business, which is what is happening with a lot of these retails and a lot of the other places. Somehow meat still, I got 3 pounds of hamburger for $5.99. A quick story. So I go to the meat store yesterday. I get my Social Security, I get my unemployment. I'm going to get, I think by Saturday, I'll have my distribution of the trust and then the small distribution. And I'm like going, God, I hope, I'm wondering how much am I going to get on the major distribution. But anyway, so I get this 1,200. She got the stuff. She mailed it out today. So I should get it a couple days. So it's Wednesday, Friday or Saturday, I should get the check. And so I'm like, okay, good. So I go to the meat grocery store to get hamburgers. It's still $5.99. I got a roast. It was still $7.99. I got chicken at $2.99 a pound. So I'm like, this, but I wait till it's on sale, then I'm buying it. I always buy the meat that's on the hamburger. I always have one hamburger on sale. And if you buy 3 pounds, you save another 50 cents. So I bought 3 pounds, but my feet have been bothering me if I eat the whole 3 pounds. So I was clever and I said, give me 2 1.5 pounders. And then I'll make, instead of 9 hamburgers, I'll make, with 1.5, I'll make 6 or 5. And that's fine. And then over a couple of days, I'm not having that much. And so I have 2 1.5s and I go to the register to pay and I pay for them. For some reason, it must have fallen out of my bag, but I didn't realize it. So I get home, I only have one. I'm like, where's the second one? I know, and it's I paid for it. So I called the store and they go, yep, we got it, Mr. Robbins. Here it is. Here's your other 1.5 pounds. Come on in, tomorrow, which is today, and we'll have it for you. So I went in after swim and I said, I'm here and here's the receipt. And they ran back and got it for me. And here's my meat. So I got the other 1.5 pounds. But it's very nice that they actually had it and knew who it was, because you put your phone number in when you do it to get the discount. And then they held it for me in the back of the meat counter, and it was cool and fresh. So I'm going to make 1.5 pounds, but not now. I'm going to make, I got some ribs and a salad for dinner when we're done here. But that was nice that they did that. Anyway, so let's go through baseball one more time. So tonight we got the NBA Dallas -1.5, 11 units. It's a do or die game for them. I think they're good. They handled Minnesota. They handled OKC. I can't imagine them just going out 4-0 on Boston. I mean, maybe it's a matchup problem, but I don't know. They played pretty close game. All right, baseball, Houston under 7.5, Oakland under 8. I'm going to do the games I didn't bet on. Washington, St. Louis under 8, and the Yankees over 10.5. These I do not have a bet on. But if you want to play the Yankees, I'm playing it as an over. My bets, Baltimore over 9 for 7 units. The Cubbies, Philly under 8.5 for 7 units. Cleveland under 8 for 5 units. Seattle over 7.5 for 3 units because it's like I should play it, but they're such bad hitting teams. And then Arizona over 8.5 for 3 units. So you notice how I'm like 3 units, 5 units, 7 units, and then occasionally a 10-unit game. I should bet it versus I really love it. So when I had the 2-ace, like the Philadelphia game on the weekend, when we had our Suarez, Ranger Suarez with like 10-1 with a 1.5 ERA, was going against the Mets ace or whatever, or Boston's ace. And so that made sense and it felt right. And it was like, okay, yeah, that's when I can get a feel of what's going to happen, the expected outcome feels right? Good pitching, good bullpen. They'll keep it low scoring. And it still got to 9 and it was under 9.5. That's the 10 or 11 units. The 5 unit is, okay, it's Cleveland, Cincinnati under 8. I don't know enough, but I see the pitching and I see the bullpen and I go, good starting pitching should keep the game close and should be low expected outcome because the starters have good ERAs. So I got 2 good pitchers going, so there shouldn't be a lot of runs. So that's a 5 unit play. The 3 unit here is like Seattle over 7.5. You just have, they don't hit very well, but the starting pitching sucks, right? You got 2 5 ERAs going, so you should get runs. And, I'm playing the if come, what should happen. But as we see, these pitchers with 5 ERAs shut you out. And we see pitchers with 2 ERAs give up 7, 8 runs. Look at the Phillies with 7-2, Ranger Suarez. We won under 9.5. How did they score 7 runs against Brady Singer of Kansas City or whoever that was KC and the Yankees or something. But whoever Philly was playing, I think it was the Mets or Boston. How did they score 7 runs on this pitcher? That's ridiculous. And the Yankees do that all the time. That's where they faced Brady Singer with a 2.5 ERA, and they scored 10 runs. Not all on him, but it was like 7 or 8 runs on him. He's got a 2 ERA. They shouldn't be. They should theoretically get 3 or 4 runs. They had their A's, so it should be like 4-1, and we're under 8 or 9 or whatever. So that's what we're always looking for, expected outcome. We really are always looking for market, right? So in the market, economics is everything. Everything you do, women, poker, gambling, stocks, gold, it's all the same. It's all supply and demand. It's why is everybody buying gold? Because you can't inflate it. Adam Smith, there's only a limited amount. And when demand gets greater, like the Super Bowl, why are the Super Bowl tickets expensive? Because there's only so many tickets and there's more people wanting to buy them. So as long as there's more buyers than there are available tickets, the price goes up. And there's a premium on the 50-yard lines or the suites or the 40-yard lines versus the end zones. So it's like that with women. You know, she's pretty. How many people you got competition? Adam Smith. So you gotta pay a little bit more and make her feel comfortable and take her to a nice dinner, not McDonald's. You imagine a real hot girl and you're taking her to McDonald's. I mean, yeah, you'll see her again. So you have that, but that's all supply and demand, right? How many hot girls are there versus the demand of how many guys want to take out the hot girl, right? And or whatever. I mean, it's the idea of how many are there versus the demand for it. You get that with everything else, gold, money. How much US dollars are there? Oh, 150 trillion. And the demand is shrinking as all these countries don't want to use it because we're bullies and we want to tell you what to do. Oh, if we give you $1 million, you got to sit down and kiss my boots. And that's the problem. Nobody wants to do that. So there's competition. And that's why BRICS will have the gold backed currency, which I thought they already did. So I don't know what Alligator's saying, but that's the point. Nobody trusts China. So to trust China, you're going with the gold backed currency. And it's the only thing that works because it's the only thing that's trusted because it's limited. So the demand for gold is huge. So the price will follow it. The demand for silver will follow. Silver is money. I'm not sure what Alligator's talking about. It is money. Gold and silver are money. I'll have to find that, but I'm sure it's not just, it's the gold standard, but let's see. Do I have that? It might be some of these sheets ripped off. I'll look for the silver on here. I won't do it now, but it's the gold standard, but it's also silver is also money. So that's why you want to buy it. Plus it's used for these. So, the demand for silver is huge to make things because it's a very good conductor and but it's not like gold. Gold you can't destroy. Silver you can. Silver does wear out. But there's more silver than gold. That's why the price is different. So again, it's supply and demand. As more people, so what the government tries to do is keep the price down with this comex bullshit Madoff to keep the demand down. Well, if you see gold at 10,000, you're probably going to buy it. Oh shit, it's a really good thing. Rolex, you see it, $50,000 Rolexes. Oh shit, I know those are expensive. And that's the thing of it. But the government tries to keep the price down to keep the demand down. The supply of gold is very limited. However, when they do the paper gold derivatives, what are they doing? They're increasing the supply, which reduces the price. That's what they're doing. It's totally illegal because they're just coming up with more dollars. Or with more gold. Well, we did this derivatives today, so it looks like there's all this gold, which is bullshit. It's 250,000 tons, maybe 255,000 tons. That's it. And it's really, congregated. You don't really, who owns the gold, right? China's got 60,000 tons. Russia's got 30,000. India's got 10. Saudi Arabia's probably near 10. South Africa's probably, they got gold mines. So Africa's got a lot of gold. So as you see this, you realize, okay, these are the players that have it. There's not much left. And that's what's happening. So by running these derivatives, they keep the supply at a higher amount because it's a paper supply instead of a physical supply, which makes the price go lower because they're selling paper. And that then takes the demand away, going, oh, well, there's too much. Doesn't have a value. I'm not going to buy it. Now you're at the choice. You have to buy it because they fucked this up so badly that there's so many of these that now this is the incredibly overvalued dollar. And then you realize, well, wait, if we buy physical gold, that's not what COMEX is doing. They're doing paper gold. So they can make it look like there's a lot more supply than there is. And it's a lot lower price because we're dumping paper supply on the market. And where I'm going is, where's the physical market? I don't care about the paper market. Let's get down to the physical market. Where's the physical market? Where's the market that says there's 55,000 tons of gold and the price is $10,000 an ounce? Where is that? Why isn't there that? This is unbelievable. This is because that if we knew that, the governments would all fail because they're printing. Well, they don't teach it, so people don't get it. That's why I'm here. I'm explaining exactly what is going on. They are printing it to death. If you print something to death, it will go to zero. And that's what's happening. So the currency is going to zero because you printed too much of it. But you don't want to go into gold because they keep the price down because they keep inflating the paper gold. And we look for a physical gold market that isn't there. And we go, how the fuck can there not be a physical gold market? This blows my mind. You can get a price on this. You can get a price on this. You can get a price on diamonds. You can get a price on Rolexes. You can get a price on my Van Gogh, although that's not real. You can get a price on Van Gogh. You can get a price on Picasso. Why can't you get a price on gold? And then everybody uses the paper price. Like, that's why when I go to the gold store to buy this for $650, I'm doing handstands, running out of the place. Like I just, I just made a fortune. I just won the lottery. Every time I go there, I won the lottery because I know they're pricing it off of this huge supply of paper, not off the little supply of physical. Now with BRICS and going to a gold-backed currency, they're going to have the physical price, not the paper price. So I don't know what they're waiting for. Or China and India, China wants it to implode. Well, it's imploded. So I don't know what Russia needs it for the war. They need the gold price up. So I would imagine that's coming. But that's where we're at is it doesn't matter. The dollar's going out because you printed $150 trillion because you printed it for all these countries. So the whole Ponzi scheme is we're going to force you into, you're Mexico and you want to buy Canadian dollars, you got to buy US dollars. You got to sell your Mexico to buy US, sell the US to buy Canadian. Right? So that's what we do. If I want Canadian dollars, I go to an ATM, I say, give me 300 Canadian dollars and I'm going to pay with my American dollar. I do it with my debit card, but it's the same thing. I'm using US dollars for Canadian or Mexico or whatever. And that's really what you're doing. And that's why there's so many US dollars out there. But as everybody says, I don't want to do this. It costs me a lot of money to switch my Mexican to US and then buy the Canadian. Why don't I just use Mexican to buy the Canadian? Of course, that's another Ponzi scheme. So because you're not doing that, everybody's getting tired of the game. I don't want to trade my Mexican to dollars to Canadian. I just want to buy the Canadian. And now the gold-backed BRICS is really so right now, if you wanted to get out of that, you can't. There's no other, they've made it where there's no competition. The only competition for the US dollar to do this, get out of that Ponzi scheme, is gold. Dollar cannot compete with gold. Nothing can compete with gold. The central banks can't print gold because there's only so much. You got to have the gold to print it. So the central banks, the central banks shouldn't be here. The governments should be using gold as currency, are not. Our Constitution says you got to use gold as currency. Somehow we're not playing by that. Somehow there's a central bank, which is totally illegal, which is it's a bank. It's not government. It's a bank run by J.P. Morgan, and it's totally made off. It's all made off, and that's the problem. So the rules are skewed for this paper gold to keep the gold price down, so to keep the interest away, because you don't know, you're too stupid to understand gold. You don't understand it's real money. And oh, don't worry about the dollar. Yeah, no, that's the reserve currency. You're fine with that. It's the petrodollar. Well, it ain't the petrodollar anymore. So as the demand for the dollar drops, what happens? The value drops. This is only worth something if somebody buys it. If I go on eBay and auction this and nobody buys it, it's worth zero. Now I might price it at 2,000 and need to reduce it to 1,500 to 1,000 to get a buyer, but it's worth something if there's a buyer. If nobody wants to buy it, it doesn't have a value. If nobody wants this and everybody's getting out of it, it's worthless. Right? It doesn't have a value because nobody wants it. So only people that want it have it. We need gold desperately, me and you and everybody. How much? As much as you can get your hands on, and silver. Silver is money. I'm sorry, I don't agree with Alligator that he thinks silver is not money. Where's he getting that from? It's priced as a commodity to do solar panels and car batteries and Tomahawk missiles, but silver's as much money as gold is. I mean, that's what it is. That's why we're buying silver. I'm not buying silver so it can be used in domestic. I'm buying silver because it's money. And I know this is going out, so I'm going to need all the real money, gold and silver, I can get. So I will look that up in my notes about silver if we got any on here. I know we talk a lot about the gold standards and stuff, and that's just simply the dollar's backed by gold, so it holds its value. Because right now the dollar's not backed by anything and it has no value. The faith in the government. Yeah, you trust your government? You trust Joey Biden? Yeah, okay, sure you do. I don't trust Trump. I don't trust any of them. I don't even think there should be a government. I think you should have the rule book. It should just be like the NFL. You have a commissioner. And then what you should do is the commissioner should then appoint the president and all the, a treasurer or this or that, a judge, the commissioner should bring those people in, but he's got to play by the rule book. In other words, in football, you can't make it. Well, it's not 4 downs to get 10 yards anymore. Now it's 5 downs to get 10 yards. Well, you can't change the game, which is what they keep doing. And that's the problem. So anyway, that's where we're at. It's all supply demand, women, food. Same thing with food. You want to go get a steak and there's competition. You can go to the store and buy it. You can go to Ruth Chris's and buy it. And they're going to pay market prices. And if they want to charge $100 for a steak at Ruth Chris, you get up and leave. You say, fuck you, it's too expensive. And that's really what you're at. So I can go to the barbecue place and get a steak. I think it's like $25 or something for a 10 or 12 ounce steak. They have an 8 ounce sirloin for like $16, but I can go buy one at the store and cook it myself. Which reminds me, I'm going to cook ribs in a minute. But that's what you're doing. It's all competition leads you to options. There's not one girl. There's 1,000 girls that are competing for you, or there's 1,000 guys competing for the hot chick. If you want a hot chick, you might not want a hot chick. She's too pretty. I want somebody who's not as pretty but nice, or she's not nice. So you're looking at all the qualities like you do at a grocery store. Well, it's a steak, but it's too big. It's not red enough or whatever. But that's what money is. And that's the whole thing. Gold is it's not a fair game because it's not, they're creating paper and calling it paper gold, but they don't call it that. And comex is developing a price. It's not set up to develop a price. It's a futures, but it's not set up to get the actual physical. It's not set up to price this physically. And that's what you got to understand. And that's what we're headed to when BRICS comes out with a gold-backed currency. And you can see the gold going up. But not only that, it's a double header because as the dollar goes out, so will the euro and the British pound and the Swiss franc. And the only alternative is going to be gold. So the whole world's going to need gold, which will jack the price way up. The more the demand for anything, the higher the price. Again, I don't know where Alligator is talking about. It's the dollar going down. At what point does he think the dollar's at now? And how much more down do you think it's going? I mean, this guy doesn't make any sense. The dollar's down. It's down 99%. If this was a dollar, it's worth a penny. So gold should have gone way up, but it hasn't because they keep doing the derivatives, pushing the price down. Right? Oh, I'm going to do a put option and lower the price. But the dollar's worthless. So what are you talking about when the dollar goes losing value? What are you talking? It's already lost its value. I mean, in your logic, gold can't go up because the dollar is going to lose more value that it can't. It's gone, 99% gone. So gold should be much, much higher. Gold should be at least $10,000, $15,000 an ounce if you got the bullshit derivatives out of it. So to say the gold price isn't going up, it's the dollar going down, guy sounds like an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm losing respect for Alligator because he doesn't. People are asking him, where's gold going? Because they want to know, is the gold at 2,300 going to go to 20,000? And I'll say yes, because of the demand. And if we get rid of the derivatives, pushing the price down. If you just stop pushing the price down with these phony options, gold would have been 2,500 by now, right? And multiply that by all of it, it would be at least 20,000. So that's what people are asking him, but he either he doesn't answer or he's not smart enough to answer. And then I'm saying in today's dollar, if the dollar goes out, it's going to be worth 100,000 an ounce. Eventually, it'll be the medium of exchange will be gold. And you're going to take the gold and go to Toyota and take the gold and go to Mercedes and take the gold and go to Kroger's. I mean, that's what you're going to do with the gold and they'll accept it. But right now, it's not the medium of exchange. So it's not like I'll take the gold to the grocery store. These are just people that are too stupid to follow the concept of a medium of exchange. They don't understand it. So they can't answer, well, what am I going to do with gold at the grocery store? Well, the better question is, what are you going to do with this at the grocery store? Because nobody's going to want this. This will have no value. So if this has no value, what are you going to do with it at the grocery store? Hello, McFly, is anybody home? Nobody's going to want this. You'll have to go to this as the medium of exchange or come out with another dollar as the medium of exchange. It's a simple thing. You need to get paid and pay your bills with something. And you're not supposed to print it to zero. So you fucked this up. Your one job is to keep this solvent. You fucked up. The Fed, the Treasury, whoever, the government. And then the point is that this should be backing us. This is what the real dollar should be, backed by gold. I don't understand the concept that it's so hard to follow that we can't do it. Oh my God, no, we can't have the gold standard. We need to be able to print and print and print. Okay, and then it's going to be worth 0, 0, 0. So if they come out with a new dollar not backed by gold, what do you think the value of that is? 0. You can't base it on the faith of the government as the value. Well, we'll trust the government because they've always, since the history of time, they all fucked up. The Romans, the French, the English, the Amsterdammers, the Spanish have all fucked up. They've all blown it. They've all ruined their currency. How do you trust the government? Really, I'm going to trust the government to keep my dollars safe? How about if we trust gold to keep our dollars safe? That's never failed. As a guy looking for expected values on baseball games and football games, I know the expected value of gold is it's never going to zero because you can't print it. So if you understand the concept, you can't print it. Versus I print this to death, it's pretty simple to go to gold. But God forbid anybody tell you that. And God forbid Mark McGuire and Alligator say, well, it's not the gold going up, it's the dollar going down. No, it is the gold going up, you idiots. It's the demand always makes the price go up, just like the Super Bowl analogy. If you got 150,000 people wanting to go to the Super Bowl and 75,000 tickets, don't tell me it's the tickets going down, not the price of the tickets going up. Of course, it's the price of the tickets going up because you got demand for these tickets and you have a limited supply. That's why the price goes up. You have a limited supply and high demand for gold, but you would have a much higher demand if you had a real fucking price of it and not this bullshit. Well, we're going to run derivatives on the paper and it's going to be COMEX. And oh, good, we can't wait till it breaks up and then you run out of gold and silver and then we get a real price. Why don't we have a real? Why do we need it to blow up? Have a real price. Oh my God! Listening to these guys, it's so ridiculous. They're so stupid. It really is. It's really insulting to my intelligence to listen to these guys who really try to come across like they know what they're talking about and have no idea. Oh, it's the dollar going down. The dollar has gone down. It's dead. The dollar is lost 99% of its value. What are you talking about? So when the dollar goes to zero, what's the gold price? You don't think the gold price is going to go higher when the dollar goes to zero? Are you fucking insane? And the demand for gold is going to go how much higher? And you don't think the price is going to go up because of demand? Do you not understand supply and demand? Apparently he doesn't. Well, it's the dollar dropping, not the gold. No, the gold, the thing about gold is the ounce of gold was $37.71 is now $23.50. The weight hasn't changed, but the value has. And that's what he doesn't get. And that's why you can't look at inflation at 2, 3, 4, 20, or 50%, because for everything that it's different. And then you get into the market. They can't sell Coke at $3. So does that mean inflation's went down? No. Inflation is inflating the money supply. That's it. The effect is prices going up because the value of the dollar is worth less, not that Coke raised their prices. But when everybody wants gold because they all realize the dollar is fucked, yes, the price of gold goes up. He won't answer the question. It's over his head. I'm telling you, it's at least 20,000 an ounce. Once we get out of, once you realize the dollar is gone and we get rid of this stupid COMEX Madoff price fixing by doing shorts. What is that? What the fuck is that? Once we get rid of that and we just go to a regular eBay, Mahomes' price is this, Montana's is 100 and a quarter, Jordan's is 500,000, this $7 million Brady card. That's the free market. That's all we want. Get me to that with this, and this will be 20,000. This will be $5,000 because it'll be 20,000 an ounce at least. And as the demand for gold goes up, the price goes up from demand, not because the dollar. It's the stupidest thing. It's the ounce of gold is still the ounce of gold, not the price. Oh my God. And he's a legend, as you know. Oh my God. Anyway, so it's sickening to hear these idiots. They're so stupid, and they try to pass it off. And this Bill Collar guy on Mark McGuire, he's an idiot. And Rick Rude and all this guy. I was watching Rickards for 5 minutes before I threw up. Here's how he's getting a gold price of 27,000. He's taking M1, which is the supply of dollars. You're supposed to take M2 because that includes the savings accounts, savings and checking, divided by this 8,000 ounces of gold that there isn't. and he comes up with 27,000 an ounce. Now, there's not 8,000 ounces of gold. So where the fuck are you getting that from? Well, that's what they say in the film. Yeah. And has anybody seen the audit and seen the 8,000? No, because it's not there. It's gone. It's sold. We have zero. So what the fuck are you talking about 27,000? Why do you still believe this 8,000 number? And they won't show it. Are you that stupid? I guess you are. Well, he's a government guy, right? So he's, oh no, we have 8,000. So this is why you can't listen to these idiots or Peter Schiff or any of those guys. It's really disappointing, but there really isn't. I think besides me, there might be one or two other guys that Egon and Mark McGuire that we can actually understand that get it. Everybody else is just out trying to sell their gold and silver. Paint the Peter Schiff. Well, buy gold and silver. Why? Well, I don't know. I'm going to say a bunch of words that won't mean anything to anybody. And that's what we have the problem with. Anyway, no comments or questions today. Disappointing. It's for you, not for me. Although it does help the show because I can go in a proper direction. If you want to talk sports or women or stoic or whatever, or gambling, we can go there with the question. But without the question, I can't go there because I don't know that you guys want to go there. But that's okay. So I'm going to go through my great sports almanac. I have an Excel spreadsheet, so I put all the quarterbacks and coaches on there. Like now, I see the Missouri running backs gone. I wonder who drafted the guy. The guy was great. So I got to see what team he's on, and I'll take a note of that. If they play him, I'll go, yeah, that's that good guy from Missouri. He was. I thought I looked him up, and I didn't think he was in the draft, but I'm sure he got drafted, but I don't know where. Anyway, I'll check that out. But so again, we got the baseball today. I'm going to look up silver in my notes to see if there's anything on silver, that gold and silver are money, which I believe they are. It's the fact that they use silver for Tomahawk missiles and solar energy really doesn't mean it's not money. They would use gold, but it's too expensive, and that's the problem. So they need to use silver, but we need to get that silver price up. So it's just, very frustrating when you know the gold price is a joke, and for some reason we're waiting for them to sell out all the gold in comex so we can get to a physical price. Why don't we just get to a physical price? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Just go. We're gonna, somehow we need to do it. The problem is it's kind of blinded by the paper comex market. So if it says gold's 23.40, so you got to ignore that's the paper price. Then how do you come up with a physical price? Because in eBay, they're still going to price the physical at the paper price, which is going to distort it. So all I can say is gold's worth 10 times what it's now. Silver, this probably more than that. Of the real price, not this derivative price, the paper price. So all you can do is buy it because it's worth a lot more. And when the paper Ponzi schemes blow up, like Madoff, then we'll have a much higher price. So that's all you can do. All right. I'm going to eat. Feel pretty good. Waiting on the jobs. There's nothing I got to be stoic. I can't do anything until I said thank yous. That's all I can do is wait to hear. All right, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Have a nice day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And good luck on the baseballs and the hoops. We got Dallas laying 1.5 2 points for some of you tonight. And good luck. I think they have to win. Are they talented enough? But what I see is when Boston wins on their home court, then Dallas goes home. Boston doesn't play the same, and Dallas doesn't play. The home team is a big deal in basketball, and we'll see that tonight. All right. That's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. All right. Ciao, everybody. See you tomorrow.